sacrifice on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is level the PL.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. One game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeps. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in these team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, see, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink calls as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, full I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save, he's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out, Seb goes for the TP, they've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now, Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in this series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. And X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back here. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen as the mid-racks are exposed. PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the 3 of them knocks them back. But Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top racks. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close the Brew is at 25.
So close.
With that primal split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball, he turns with the combo. FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail. FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I give a head for this team fight. The LGD are goal, but no blood take up to 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. They give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They bought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No-Tail's praying for a Roche right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be out. And maybe will dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right?
Yep.
It was up to a 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jarek, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X-Blade Mail Call if he finds it, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
So it's all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the smoke, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled. But
Ana, he's in the trees. They're on the high ground. They've got the vision with the Shiva's covered. Ana's on his way over. They've got the snowball down. There's the Catapult. Seb jumps in. He's able to find the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out. The Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb pots the BKB. He'll try and stand his grab, but Seb, he's going to go down. No buyback on the axe. As Jarex as well, surrounded by PSG LGD. The Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
he has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these 4 spirits. On the bottom rune, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jarex. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. And they breached through it. It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting, is it enough to hold OG in the game?
You see No-Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will. As they get upon him, they find his life. 1 minute now without No-Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Ana, and Jarex. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jarex is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split of course up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Ana up in the skies. As this rack's on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers, he's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to deward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Ana is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Step's going to get the set. He's in. The call, the EMP, the cannon, but FY is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Pots the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. The doppelganger to jump away from the snowball over to Thompson, the self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of No-Tail. FY will fall. Arme looking towards No-Tail. No-Tail pops the hand of God, but No-Tail beaten down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Ana. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jarex coming in, keeping Ana alive. Ana with the doppelganger. The Deafening Blast comes out onto the 2 of them. Ana trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Ana again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jarex back in, the combo, re-ball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Pops the Shiva's gone. He's on so low. As the buyback for Jarex comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the charge, and they find him. Ame, he's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strike, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find the block? They can! OG are still in the game. Ame buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without two of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jarex onto that shrine, being able to save Ana, but Ana also toying with him with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's really hard to kill him.
Seb,
Yeah.
he's looking straight for the play. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting. Somnus, he's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh, doesn't get the call though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Ana, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus puts the BKB. Ana again with the double gun. They see Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Ana will be able to force him away. They've got the hex. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice got for 2 minutes. And Seb, he's finding, looking for Ame. Big Daddy No-Tail gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion though. Ame able to waveform up to the high ground. As Ame should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost, so he's got Hex
maybe
up soon too.
Oh, the doppelganger Ame's over the trees. Can he hide his way out of this?
He's back, real one.
Goes for the waveform. Seb tries for the call, but he's already out of there. Nice, nice play from Ame.
And he buys so much time too for his team there. The Brewmaster was dead for 120 seconds, now only 90.
Still a big window for OG. They're only without Jarex for the same amount of time. And that lead the PSG LGD had, it is going down a little bit. Only 4K, 5K at the moment with these last few fights. Obviously the 25s now coming out on OG. Thompson's into the pit.
What a timely DD coming out for him too. I don't think they expected to be taken out as fast. He's almost able to solo it with the help of these summons. That's a refresher shot. There's no way to get this. There's no way LGD can come.
Oh, and the Seb level 25 too. That extra Berserker's Call AoE. It catches people out. They don't expect it.
It does not feel like OG.
Yeah. The Berserker's Call now is, I mean, the AoE is really massive now when you have that talent.
It's so hard to play against. Can PSG LGD do it? They've got the Basher now for Somnus.
Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Treant Protector.
Radiant
All
team
right.
Dire team pick.
Welcome back. We are here for our second series of the night between EHOME and CDEC. It will be MLP Dota, and once again, John X5 joining you to cast this match. John, first series over so darn quick. Both games didn't even last 50 minutes in total. Series number 2, though, you'd argue should be a lot closer between these two.
Yeah, most certainly should be. CDEC has had a better run in history. Of course, we've seen them a couple of times. We've seen a lot of them in that DA, and they had a pretty alright run, being number 6 in the end, so they do have some potency here. Historically as well, up against EHOME this year, they've only played 3 series so far in 2020, but CDEC is just slightly ahead. 2 wins over EHOME overall in the series. and just one loss. So it seems like CDEC does have EHOME's number. We'll see if that will continue or if EHOME's kind of figured him out this time around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, EHOME have begun their draft. They do go straight into the Earthshaker, Queen of Pain, and CDEC do go into the Treant and Rubik. Now, I find it very intriguing, John, because it feels like the meta shifted over the past couple days. I'm not too used to seeing first pick Earthshakers anymore, but that's what we've been seeing popping up here and there. A lot of people have been really focusing on making sure they do get this hero. I wonder, is the Earthshaker officially back yet?
I think it does have a space in this meta. I'm not sure if you'd fully say it's back. There are a couple of things that you'd really have to see from the team to always pick it up. Mainly farm distribution tier 4. For the most part, that is the most important. The blink timing is always what holds that Shaker 4 back. And a lot of teams that we do see draft that Shaker in are used to kind of giving the 4 a lot more space and sacking that offlaner. So I think there is a lot more room now. A lot of teams are realizing just how much can be done with a very fast Shaker. I don't think it's going to be every team prioritizing it though. So it's somewhat back. And you look at starting from EHOME, Shaker, Queen of Pain, and the Jakiro. The control is all there, the team fight's all up and running. The beautiful thing about that Queen of Pain is it's also kind of flexible. It's not quite the most it's not the hero that comes into mind when you think of Fate Beyond, but I'm sure if they do decide to flex it into the offlane, that is most certainly a possibility here for EHOME. Of course, nothing to say, you should have a fantastic time with that hero down mid, regardless. Lane matchup, ignoring the lane matchup, Queen of Pain does kind of hold her own. CDEC, Treant, Rubik, a lot of good spells for the Rubik to steal here. Shaker's kit, in particular, Fissure, is always nice to have. Jakiro is pretty decent to steal as well. The Ice Pad is very easy to set up with the lift. So a lot of potency for Rubik in this case. On top of that, with the Treant, we are looking at pretty decent team fight and control and pretty stable lanes. You know, just have to see how they build off of that base.
I mean, it's a great Rubik game to say the least. Both those abilities, Fissure and Ice Path, they're just so darn good. CDEC, they will take the puck, and that's just building onto that team fight potential they have. They have a ridiculous amount at this point. Like Dream Call into the Overgrowth setup and or the Rubik, whatever he has at the time. But EHOME will surprisingly enough respond with the Naga Siren, and so they're just going to make it very, very difficult, it seems, for CDEC to actually have that catch potential anyway. And worst case scenario, John, you just song while the Overgrowth or Dream Call is going on, and well, suddenly it means nothing.
It's a pretty strong game in that sense, just the control you take back. Not only that, but you've got the combination with the Jakiro, so the song to set up into the Ice Pat and the Mac is most certainly devastating. Is interesting to see EHOME kind of dip back into this old style. This is most certainly looking like a draft from, I don't know, I want to say a year and a half ago, when you really saw the Naga, Jakiro, and the Queen of Pain a lot. It is still looking potent though. CDEC does respond with the Underlord, so there can be some laning issues now for the Naga Siren. Not the best here to go up against the Underlord. Underlord most certainly being able to burn damage off. The AoE route is pretty darn nice here as well. Does decent control over the Queen of Pain. So that is something to be conscious about from EHOME, but overall, I still would give a bit of an edge to EHOME. They just have a lot in their kit. Like, the biggest thing they have to do is give their Naga Siren farm, of course, but more importantly, the Shaker farm is going to be key. So when your Shaker has a blink, that's when EHOME can dictate the fights for themselves. Before that time, you have some ways of doing that, but CDEC would be looking to use that downtime with their puck to find the targets they want in the back.
Yeah, it'll be it's an interesting draft from CDEC. I mean, they've got so much now in the form of team fight. Like, the Pit of Malice on top of everything is great, and I guess the Underlord does do okay up against that Naga Siren with the wave clear from Firestorm. Is it enough is a different question entirely. I still get a little bit concerned here for CDEC with this kind of draft where it's like you don't really have much damage quite yet. Like, maybe with this last pick we'll see some crazy amount of damage coming out of one hero, but when I look to EHOME, I see that damage. I see the Queen of Pain, I see the Naga Siren, I even see the Earthshaker, right? It's, I don't know, I need to see a little bit more from CDEC here, just some DPS output for themselves, and All right, they go into the Spectre. That's where they want to go. And when you've got all this team fight, I suppose you can rely on having that Haunt do quite a bit of damage. Whether it's enough is a different question entirely, because now you've really locked yourself in to that late game with this Spectre. It's not going to do much in the early game. We all know that. Assuming he goes for a standard Spectre build. I don't know. Does it bring confidence to you, John, this Spectre last pick?
No, not really. The thing is, EHOME doesn't need to wait too long. Like a Naga, you could argue as a late game hero, sure. Not to the extreme if you suspect would go. Like you're waiting for a man to defusal for the most part, and that's it. And EHOME even ties it up with Fate Beyond Necrophos. So they've got a lot of presence early on. They can really seriously punish that spec so many times, and CDEC has to be very cautious about their timings. They have to protect that Spectre at all costs. And EHOME, I mean, you have to watch Sylar, you have to give SinQ space for the blink, but their timings aren't as sensitive in the early game. They have much better power spikes early on. CDEC, they've got great control. You know, Puck, Dreamcoil, the Underlord Root, and the Overgrowth can be devastating together, but the damage output from the Spectre is not going to be there. So it's really an issue of can CDEC actually make use of all that control.
5 seconds remaining.
That's the question I had entirely as well, right? Like do they actually have enough to make anything of that control? And, you know, my immediate answer to that question was no, because the Spectre just doesn't do any damage until you get to those later stages. Sure, you know, if you have someone alone, you do some decent damage, but odds are you're probably not going to find that situation when you've got a team fight lineup like this. Most people do probably want to be grouped up for CDEC to really be able to capitalize with these big ultimates they have. So we're going to have to keep an eye on SCCC. We're going to have to see how fast his farm can go, and more importantly, what kind of item build he does go for. Because, I mean, last game we saw the Manta Rush from a Spectre. Didn't work out very well, but that was up against RNG. I wouldn't mind seeing a Radiance build here for SCCC on this Spectre, but will he have the chance?
Yeah, timing's gonna be super tight for CDEC. The tendency we've seen from Spectre is like a 20-minute Radiance. That's really what we've mainly seen from everyone. Oh, there you go. There you go. Look at Fate Beyond. That's just... That's not right. Oh, CDs lost the mind. Where's their sync? Is it because you know, I'm actually curious. I was expecting Ame. Is this a sub, or did I miss out on a roster swap?
That's a good question, actually.
Or is that Ame with SCCC being repped? I'm mildly confused because, you know, sometimes lobbies break and it hasn't been really kind of, I mean, SRF is still under Royal in his tag, so is that really SCCC? That's gonna bug me for the rest of the series.
Best go find out then, John. I can't find out right now. I'm currently controlling the camera, so maybe just try and figure out who that is. It should be Ame, but you never know. These roster swaps do tend to happen pretty quickly in the Chinese region, and sometimes we're a bit slow to find out in the West, unfortunately. But I'm sure you'll figure it out very soon. I gotta say, it shouldn't be too much of a fun time for this Spectre, apart from maybe this disco ball right now and a soccer ball even. But up against the Necrophos, this isn't exactly the most fun lane you could have asked for.
Nah, it's most definitely not. Like, it's kind of a tricky lane, and look, they're actually playing with it. That's soccer ball.
You paid for this. You gotta play with it.
The battle
We didn't see it last time. There you go, goal. Good shot. Amazing. Outstanding plays.
Outstanding indeed. No, well, there's the hot chili. Faith Beyond. They're gonna start going over onto that Treant. Bit of a death pulse to fly out. Bit of early harassment. He's already actually gone through 2 tangos. So 1 tango left of this Treant. Probably will have the living armor anyway if he really needs it. But they even fuck him in the tree line. He'll be alright though. He just walks his way out and Well, back to what I was initially saying though, like Faith Beyond should have a really nice time up against the Spectre.
Yeah, it's not the easiest time for the Spec to kind of contest that. Like, you'd maybe be looking at level 3 for Faith Beyond to start being a lot harder to force out of lane. But even now, like, SCCC can't really go up into last hit too safely. Like, the moment he goes up, Faith Beyond's gonna be right-clicking him down. If you try to trade Faith Beyond, it's just gonna pop the Death Pulse and he's suddenly back up healthy.
It is rough, it really is. Like, he's got the living armor there, which is gonna help a bit, but much is it going to help? Like, you can't just, you know, continue to just spam this out over and over again, especially while Xingqiu's around. Like, at some point you're going to have to heal yourself up on that tree. And looking over to the other lanes though, for you have the mid lane, of course, XM up against nothing to say. Overall doesn't really like favors either. So both sides will probably just trade farm in this mid lane. There's not really much you can do on this quad, right? Like, usually you throw the Shadow Strike out, but it can be so easily dodged by the phase shift. I don't think XM should be running into too many issues on this path.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups where it can be volatile. Like, there are some sweet power spikes here for both sides, but they both really have strong ways of shifting out and kind of playing away from that aggression. So
yeah, it's Quap, right? Attack animation's nice, base damage is nice. Everything's pretty nice in the Queen of Pain right now. Bot lane is arguably the most boring lane. SRF on the Underlord, going to be up against the Naga Siren from Cylon. What can you say about this lane, John? They're both going to hit creeps.
yeah,
Nobody's killing each other here unless we have some supports rotating in. But they're currently busy contesting a pool here. James trying to be disruptive up against Wise Jakiro. But overall, like, SRF should survive and should just hit creeps on the Underlord and try to get as many denies as possible, and the Naga Siren will basically do the exact same thing.
yeah, not much activity from both sides. Like, you can play aggressive with the Jack Naga, I suppose. I don't think you're really going to be looking for that from Naga. Like, she's just going to be farming up, no problem. In a farm trade, Sylar will definitely enjoy that a lot more. Like, a farm on Underlord, nice. It doesn't quite give you as much of a big boon as a farmed Naga very early. So even if SRF finds this farm, as long as Sylar's not slow down, you have no issues.
No, definitely not. Back up to the top lane, Xingqiu. He may try and go for a nice fisher, he doesn't. Interestingly enough, Xingqiu is actually still sitting at that level 1 point. He is really giving a lot of XP over to Faith Beyond, but I don't actually mind this at all. I think Faith getting all that XP, if you find a really early level 6, then SCCC's, whoever it is, I believe it is still Arme, the Spectre is going to struggle quite a lot. So at this rate, like, you keep giving those levels over to Faith, don't worry about your Earthshaker, he'll have Fisher. It's going to make it very hard on this Spectre to actually get anything done.
Yeah, it's I mean, you see him trying to get some farm now. 18-4 is not bad. It's most certainly better than Faith Beyond, but look how low you drop if you're not careful.
I mean, Faith is dropping really low now as well, though. He doesn't actually have the Ghost Shroud. They could try and secure this as Faith. He needs help. Xingqiu does come in. A Sal from Faith will allow him to live. He has no mana for the Death Pulse, but a nice Fisher.
Oh, no.
But the Spectral Dagger going to come out, but no, the Death Pulse will be there in time. And now Victoria is the one in trouble on that Treant, but here comes the Spectre Faith. He was still trapped up, and they do find the First Blood. A very prolonged First Blood, but they do eventually get it. And of all heroes to go on, it is going to be on Arme.
Yeah, it's a nice little boon for CDEC. You did also waste the salve out very early on from Fate Beyond. Like, he turned it on, he only got maybe 1 or 2 ticks off because the Treant just got that range last hit to cancel off. So rather unfortunate the fissure didn't come out earlier. I think if it did, Fate Beyond would have healed up pretty much almost the full duration of that potion and just gotten a bit too much value. So this does make the Spectre's lane a bit better. Like, you have certainly pulled ahead of this Necrophos now and gotten that EXP lead. You would want to see Xingqiu get some more EXP. Level 2 is not shabby now, but you want level 3 to have the Aftershock stun with the totem.
I mean, it'd be nice. Xingqiu will have the enchant totem for now anyway. Faith Beyond is going to hit that level 5 point, but still opts to not go for any points in Ghost Shroud, interestingly enough, and that's going to allow them to just really trade harass quite easily. really wanting to just maximize the death pulse of all things.
I think that's fine. Like, it's a lot of damage out onto our spec. Like, you don't really have the best ways of blocking that damage very early on. The option from the Ghost Shroud would be nice, but he hasn't really been threatened unless you overextend.
Dream Coil, mid lane, onto the Queen of Pain. She'll be alright though, as Sinkyu's going to be there, and now Y rotating in on the Jakiro, but he'll be underneath that tier 1 tower, so he may die here. Victoria trying to secure the kill, and eventually does get it. EHOME. A bit of an interesting position there from the Jakiro, just kind of coming through the tier 1 tower. He was lifted and thrown back, and ultimately, like, you got the Queen of Pain out, but I don't think she was going to die anyway.
Yeah, you are wasting the support's time here. So this is freeing up your Naga Siren down bot, who really is just kind of left alone, and you find that kill in the Spectre top. So you do get something out of those rotations. CDEC sacked her side lanes just for a bit, and that's enough for EHOME to find a little bit of a trade.
I don't think you can leave the Spectre alone when Faith hits level 6. James is already TP'd up now on the Rubik. You definitely cannot leave that Spectre alone at this point, because Faith Beyond will just abuse the living hell out of him.
Well, SRF is going at a steady pace towards his Hood of Defiance. I mean, it's nice, right? Like, your Underlord is going fine in farm. It's like, again, the impact of that is up in the air. You really just want to see earlier farm onto everyone else, although top.
Yeah, they're going to try and go on to Y, and Y should be a very, very easy pick-off here on this Jakiro. He's trying to trade with Victoria. Whoa, Sonic Wave comes in, hitting all three of them. James also going to go down, it seems nothing to say, and does. It'll be a double on the Quap. So you found the Jakiro, but you lose 2 in the process, and unfortunately for CDEC, that is going to leave the Spec vulnerable once again in that top lane.
Yeah, you don't want to be in this kind of situation. You see, and our Spec will have to maybe play around that jungle. You won't really see the fastest push from EHOME. There are the living armor fields coming out, although at level 2, I suppose, the cooldowns are just a bit too long that it's not going to be up for that much longer. And again, you probably want to pull back if you're the Spectre right now.
No, they kind of have to, and yeah, he'll just go into the tree line, just hide there for a while and hope for the best. That tier 1 tower, though, is going to be gone, and well, you've got level 7 on Faith, and he's got that Reaper Scythe back up now, so you could definitely look to try and find another big kill across the map if you are Faith Beyond. Like, he may just focus on farm up at this top lane and after the Spectre once he does show his face. And in fact, that looks like what Faith Beyond is doing. He's actually going to pull the lane back in. And this isn't something we're too used to seeing from an offlaner who just found the tier 1 tower. But he's pulling the lane back in and just trying to drag the wave back towards his own tier 1 to really choke out the Spectre.
Yeah, and that makes it a lot harder for the Spec to farm up, though finding the kill on Y is nice. It's not the biggest thing. So the wave is still going to shove in just a bit, and that does mean it's just a bit more dangerous staying there because you don't have a TP point anymore.
And he's going to find out the hard way that Faith is still around the area. Does get a level off it though, which is nice. So soaks a bit of XP from that neutral camp. It's like Faith's had enough of this lane, or in fact he's going to make a rotation down bot. Again, he does have the Reaper's Scythe, so I imagine he wants to get it back on cooldown if he can afford to. And now SRF. Now this is the time where you probably don't want to do this. It is the 10-minute mark after all. They're going to go for a big team fight anyway. Sinq going to run out. Faith the XM. Oh, he just came straight into them. Fisher not going to miss a great juke out from XM, but he should be dead. Sonic Wave is there. They secure the puck kill, and now the chase will begin as SRF. He will Dark Rift. Can he get everyone out though in time? Looks like he will be able to. So it's not all bad, but you did lose that mid puck. You lost a courier and you lost bounty runes. In fact, quite a lot of them.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it could be for CDEC. At the same time, that was the first haunt we were getting out there. Not the best use of that first haunt. They can even pick off the backline shaker. I believe that's what we did see happen. He was just chasing down Sinq, not of damage to find that kill, and Oh, all the bounties coming out once more. 5 minutes to find those kills on EHOME. They have been pretty relentless in the aggression. Really staved off too much, and all of that while still giving their Naga free space to farm. Like Sylar has basically not been punished for being all alone on the Naga Siren.
It's kind of like, how do you punish her though, right? Like, she's got the song up, you make the rotations in, but you don't really have the heroes to lock her down. It seems like if they even try to go after the Naga, it's just she's gonna pop song and TP out. I just don't actually know what they could possibly do to deal with her.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation for CDEC. I'd say maybe some much more aggressive wards to just watch the enemy jungle instead would allow them to get those rotations in. If you get XM in with the silence, that does take a lot of the potency away from Naga, at least in terms of defensive skill use. So that's an option, but CDEC looks to just want to trade farm. They're just giving their own spec some space to farm up, and they're going to be satisfied with that. Like, they are getting some decent farm to spec. It's not as good as the Naga, about 1k behind, but the Spectre can build up pretty quickly as well.
We've also gone for that very defensive build though on the Spectre, which means you're not really going to have damage. Not yet. Like, the damage is really going to be prolonged for a while. EHOME just won't have that problem, and that was one of the things I was talking about at the drafting stage. Is I was very concerned as to whether CDEC could actually follow up on all the team fight lockdown they have. The answer so far has been no. I understand why you go the Hood of Defiance on the Spectre in this kind of up against the Quap Necrophos of all things. But it is going to mean that for at least the next 10 minutes or so, you're not really going to have the damage output, so I don't really know what you can do with your CDEC. Like, you've got to play this passive farming game constantly.
Yeah, and that's really my issue with, like, the offlane Underlord. Like, SRF, he's doing a fantastic job in the Euro. His farm is up there. He's been applying decent enough laning pressure. It's just, what you can't really ask for that much more from an Underlord. Like, if you ask him to do damage, he can do a decent amount. It's not the best. It's not amazing. But they needed an offlaner that could do that, because your Spectre is not going to be there. Your puck is all about magic, and even then, XM start has been unideal. So one of these heroes needs to pick up that slack, and it's just not quite coming out yet.
Now, bot lane, James going to be the target of a gank. Reap the side, committed in the Sonic Wave just to make sure they get the kill. It's not the biggest kill in the world, but it may open up that bot T1 tower now for EHOME to slowly start sieging away at. Well, not even. They'll just leave it be. They don't care. They just want to find kills right now. I suppose they are dominating most of the map anyway, so it's not too big of a deal that they only found a Rubik there. And well, with a 3k net worth lead, they're going to rotate into the mid lane instead. A much more valuable tower, to say the least. But XM is going to be there with that new Veil of Discord, and that's going to be a one-man Dream Coil. It'll be broken straight away. Now the Pit of Malice, but he should be able to blink soon, though. No, the silence was long enough, so they do end up finding that Queen of Pain. It was 5 heroes worth of a rotation, but it's seemingly worthwhile if they find that Quap and stop that T1 push.
Yeah, I'd say that's most definitely worthwhile. And you do manage to punish just a bit of an overextension from EHOME. They're probably not going to be finding too much more. And you actually have Sylar ready to go now as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there with the Asha Treads and the 3 Wraith Bands. He's not actually doing low damage right now. It's actually decently high. To see if he can make a play. Of course, he has the song there just in case he needs to get out. You've got that Queen of Pain around as well. Nothing to say, he is of course back. And they are not dissuaded whatsoever. They realize after the Dream Coil being expended, they can force T1 if they really want. And they're just going to keep at it, even through the glyph. Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to force it in. They want control in that jungle. You saw Sylar farm around there for a very long time. They just want easier access to the spots where the Spectre would be playing, so they take away that farm opportunity. And
Dream Coil.
This is one way to get about it. Huh?
Being committed onto Sing Q. They still haven't taken him out. He's still living through this. He will eventually die, but that T1 tower is gone. And EHOME, I'm sure they'll be okay with that.
100%. That's exactly what they want. Like, they got the distraction off, they take the tier 1 mid, so the top jungle's not going to be as safe. Ame up there, should be a bit more cautious, or you need wards here for CDEC, because EHOME has been playing a lot in that area. So maybe it's time to switch out jungles. You could play the bot jungle. No one's down there. No one from EHOME's even playing down there. That's probably your best bet right now for safe, stable farm, and you need it because you're slowly inching towards that Radiance. It's not going to be the fastest, but it's super important to get that up and running.
Yeah, that is for sure. He is going to be a while off that Sacred Relic, but he's getting there slowly but surely. Meanwhile, you look to Faith Beyond, he's got the full Guardian Greaves up now. And so the amount of sustain you've got on this Necrophos is just shot up. And this is also that point where this Necrophos basically becomes unkillable as long as Ghost Shroud's available. Like, he's just got Death Pulse Guardian Greaves and he's up to full HP. It's...
Yeah, nah, you're not going to be able to fully break this guy down. Like, you could possibly with a puck. That's your best first option, but the silence doesn't do too much if the Guardian Greaves are still up and running. So there's only so much you can expect there.
Trying to be disruptive up against that Spectre, but he will get punished for it. It does give a kill away to the Spectre. Now, this could be a little bit concerning doing that over and over again. Like, I realize he wants to try and scout out the Spectre and just, you know, soak XP off him as well. But this is helping him get, right? Because he's already a very, very slow kind of farmer anyway up until he gets the Radiant. So I'm not sure if you actually want to throw that +5 life away to that Spectre.
Nah, it is certainly feeding an income stream to CDEC, which you kind of were denying quite nicely, so you gotta watch out for that. I think have been surprisingly docile after that mid-tier one, although they are starting to clump around that spec.
Yeah, Echo is committed to just lock him down because he does have that hood, so he's not only taking much magic damage and does actually fall into the mid lane, but nothing to say is waiting, so he'll walk back up towards the top lane and does successfully juke them up. And great play there from Arne. They are unable to do anything about it. Although mid lane looks like there is going to be a jump onto XM, but again it seems EHOME is lacking a bit of lockdown with the foot round, and well, XM now just happily committing a beam coil to try and secure this hero kill, but you've got the Guardian Greaves get Faith Beyond. Now Wild turn around with an Iron Path. What they're actually chasing, it's going to be James on the move if they want. It'll just be a 1-for-1 trade on the supports.
Yeah, it's not the biggest trade-offs for either side. I think you are slightly happier as CDC, although Siler.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's still got Song, right? He's gonna be fine.
He's really starting to kick up in damage over that Manta style. Like, just a couple of right clicks dragged the Treant down way low, not in the position where you want to be. This is the difference with EHOME's core and CDEC's core. Naga can shoot up online much earlier, and
Yes, Smoke, although top lane looks like they have made a jump. Deeper Side was committed. Dark Rift will be coming in, and no, it'll be cancelled off. That Hood of Defiance saving the Spectre once again, although those illusions can hurt you quite a bit if you're not too careful. And that's a little win for CDEC, just allowing the Spectre to live, but can they make anything happen with this smoke? They don't have Horn. His TP will be cancelled. He needs help. He does have Song, but the silence is going to be there. Now the Root. He does get the Song off, but it's going to be too late with that Overgrowth. It's just enough damage. SRF was actually the one to pick up the kill with the Firestorm.
yeah, EHOME has kind of been reckless. Just a bit of rotations, like not being able to find the kills on the Spectre does mean that, well, you're going to hit a good timing on that Radiance. It's going to be past 20 minutes, but all things considered, it's been a really hard time for a Spec. So you're still getting that timing. You're probably not going to be up and ready to go. Maybe you start waiting for a couple of items down here. So the diffusal on the Naga is going to pump up your damage so much more. I think you have to wait for that now because it's not enough against the Spec, not quite enough. They have staggered out their control, although they do have the Blink and Sin key. So maybe this is when EHOME actually does want to go. Like, they're ready to go under pause 4.
See if they do make any plays in queue with the Blink Dagger, wanting to definitely try and make something happen. And, time is of the essence for EHOME. You've still got The Spectre whacking away those creeps. Just needs a recipe now, has the Sacred Relic up. It's not like he's going to be overly hard to deal with that Radiance, but it's just the farm escalation that's the real concern afterwards. You find the Mantis straight afterwards, and it's a much quicker process, and once the Mantis up, that's when things become very, very difficult. They do still have the counter in the Reaper's Scythe on Faith Beyond, but we've seen that Hood of Defiance really saving the day so many times with the Spectre already, and even SRF with the Pipe. That's going to be very, very problematic in terms of being able to burst through that HP off the Spectre. And they are going to meet down to the bot lane. EHOME, they are waiting, they've got the Echo, they've got the Blink. They want to try and make this happen now. You are missing Faith Beyond. He's in the mid lane right now just farming up, but he'll slowly run his way down bot. But you may have missed the timing. In fact, CDEC, they show themselves. SRF going to be the first target, but he's not an easy one. There's that Dream Coil with the Macro Pie that was stolen by James. Del Fisher. Ice Path will not connect, however. And instead, they may have to just settle on Victoria on that Tree and Protector, and nothing to say he's already kind of done that. So he'll take one kill, but that's just really showing some bad signs. For the side of EHOME, they just seemingly had no damage themselves.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for EHOME. CDEC's most definitely happy to just get these kinds of trades now, because you know your Spectre is becoming an issue just by virtue of that farm we've been talking about. And
Nice path.
did you try to push bot lane though?
Nice path stolen. There's that Radiance coming up, and he does have Haunt if he wants to commit with Team Fight, but Wine's already dead anyway. They may just try and turn this one around, see it. Instead, gonna be in the Rubik. Now they dump in. There's that Haunt. Sonic Wave does kill off James. Nothing to say, in a very awkward position, but he blink in at the Reaper's side. Not enough to actually he'll be able to warp out of there. Meanwhile, Arme is still going at it with Sylar. He is kind of been left phone though. He only has SRF, but here comes XM again, and now a Fisher being committed in the Echo, but they've got nothing. They have got nothing, John. They are just falling apart, EHOME. And XM will continue to chase on the CDEC side. Spectral Dagger will fly out, just chasing the Queen of Pain. It won't be enough killer, enough to say we'll be able to get out, but CDEC just looking fantastic now.
Yeah, it's really starting to come together here for CDEC. That durability their lineup has is most certainly starting to be a big factor that EHOME's not ready to fight up against. One thing that's causing them a lot of issues is the Reapers aren't finding the kills. Like, if they just burn down XM immediately, that might have been a different story. Instead, every single time we've seen the Reaper, it feels like it's not coordinated. They're not focusing on the target, which means the HP is not low enough to find that kill. And you're playing at the disadvantage because Necrophos without Reaper basically it's just a walking heal stick. You know, it's all about the heals. The damage isn't there. Is having a lot of trouble with finding that damage, so they need to wait for their Naga to still find that farm again. Sylar is still waiting for that defusal. Once you have the defusal up, the Naga can right-click a bit better. For now, with that Radiance on Ame, I think they're in a much better spot. They can really start to play around the Haunt here.
I mean, they're looking amazing right now, CDEC. They've got the net worth advantage back as well. And this is that point where the Spectre doesn't really slow down and farm anymore, so it's going to go up quite quickly, especially if you're catching off heroes on the side of EHOME, and Y is going to fall. One less hero to have to worry about on the map. EHOME, they're kind of running out of answers. Like, this is not the kind of farm you expect from a Naga Siren game either. She's third in net worth, she's behind the Spectre. I don't really see Sylar being able to catch up at this point. It seems as though Arme is just going to be able to just keep snowballing ahead. It's just a matter of what you do now.
Yeah, it's you are starting to reach that point where it is boiling down into a farm game, right? Like, you're start to put your bet on the Naga up against the Spectre, and in all honesty, I think most people expect the Spectre to win out in that. It's just by nature. Spectre is one of those ultimate late game heroes. So EHOME has to be really the ball with the timing here. And once that diffusel's up, we have to see them smoke up, maybe use the song offensively to set up for themselves instead. Although, looks like Siler might be caught out here if he's not careful.
He'll kind of juke out of vision. I mean, they really got a glimpse of him after that creep wave anyway. He got that meteor hammer now as well on Victoria, so he can just slowly start sieging away towers on that target. Yeah, it's... I mean, right now it seems as though EHOME have kind of made the decision to play a bit of a farm game here up against Arme. They're gonna kind of loop around here. Y, he does get daggered up, but here comes James, and yeah, they surround Y again. It's just, I believe Y's intention here is to keep scouting out and creating space, but bot lane Sylar gonna be in trouble. Green calls there with the silence. Can they get him down in time? The meteor hammer not gonna land. There's that song coming out. Sylar, you have a TP.
He wanted to
wait for his team instead. So he is waiting for his team. The dagger coming out. 9 Fisher block and a Sonic Wave as well, but they're just trying to run. They do not want to fight. On XM. Trying to find his puck. A great pit of malice with the overgrowth though. Silen's gonna die on that Naga Siren, and now look to Faith beyond. He's in huge trouble. He will die as well. And a lot of indecision from EHOME. They just didn't know whether they wanted to keep Naga out, whether they wanted to stick around. There wasn't a influence on James, and you said the pit of malice there from SRF, but I don't believe they would have been able to close the gap. Bong was going in anyway, so it just like indecision was being was happening for the side of EHOME, and it just doesn't pay off.
It's really starting to hurt EHOME a ton. They're 6k behind. They also didn't drag all the heroes down for that. Like, Y was up top, he had no TP, it was on cooldown, so they need the macro power on top of all of that. And yeah, it's
why?
I mean, it's so weird to kind of be upset that the Jakiro is dying. Of course, it's a pause 5, but he is a lot of damage of EHOME. It's like you toss out maybe the Scream, you know, the Sonic Wave from Queen of Pain. Really maximizing with the setup and control here is a prolonged macro power burn. Like you get the fissure, you get the slam, you get the net off after the song. You are gonna find those kills. It's just they're never able to line that up, and it's not the easiest thing to do. So CDEC has been abusing that with how easy their setup is. Root, overgrowth, that's it. It's just so fast.
Oh,
there it is again.
Why? He's doing his job. Like, you can't be upset with the Jakiro. He is literally just doing his job, but it's going to get to the point where it's probably getting to him a little bit now. That's his 10th death of the game. He's currently 0-10 on the Jakiro. And the RNG, rather, excuse me, not RNG, CDEC are going to keep going toward that top tier 2 tower. And, of course, having the Dragon Seal and SRF does help a little bit. Faith?
Sylar? He songed and didn't TP immediately, but he still gets out.
Okay. Beyond. Out in front. Trying to find a target. Nothing to say now. Jumping in as well. Peter Malice is going to be there. Oh boy. And here comes the Horde. Xingqiu, he's dropping very, very low. He has Echo in 3 seconds, but they don't have enough time to wait. Now they go in. A great Sonic Wave, but there's the overgrowth onto Sylar. He doesn't have a song. In fact, it was Faith Beyond. Lifted up, hit him Malice, and he's been thrown back. He's just gonna die. And they're still going, XM, he's not done. He wants more. Sylar is very, very low on the Naga Siren, and there's the GG. I don't think they could win anyway, John. Like, look at Arme, he was very close to a heart soon. Like, they're just too far on.
Yeah, the EHOME, a lot of timing issues there in this draft. CDEC though, not to take away from them, they played perfectly. They ran their draft.
FY, he's found himself No-Tail out on his own.
He's trapped him.
There's No-Tail. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, there's 3 still dead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here for No-Tail as Zame comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped his BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off, and he cast it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
I mean, yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
And doing a ton of damage in the fight. It's one of the most damage in the game as an offlaner.
Now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're going to struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Eric's did his best to keep Ana alive, and but Ana wasn't able to do damage because he was ruptured. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Seb.
Oh, I'm just going to invis here.
Got to be
Watch
careful who
Jerax.
shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Zame to have this invis rune. And Zame will show himself. Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Somnus is not messing around rupturing there.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, and as well. Between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so
Yes.
just playing around with Seb.
He has no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's just toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed FY, the patience keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is level the PL.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeks. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in the team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, see, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those blink calls as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save, he's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out, Seb goes for the TP, they've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now, Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the Manta back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen. As the mid-racks are exposed, PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the three of them knocks them back. But Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close the Brew is at 25.
So close.
With that primal split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball. He turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail. FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I get the head for that with this team fight. The LGD are ball, but no blood take up to 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs, they give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They bought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No-Tail's praying for a Rosh right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be out. And maybe we'll dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right?
Yep.
It was up to 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon discount Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X Blade Mail call if he finds it, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
So it's all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the smoke, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled. But
He's in the trees, they're on the high ground, they've got the vision with the Shivas covered, Ana's on his way over, they've got the snowball down, there's the Counterblade. Seb jumps in, he's able to find the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out, the Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb posts the BKB, he'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down, no buyback on the axe, as Jerax as well, surrounded by PSG LGD, the Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
he has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these Force Spirits. On the bottom row, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jerax. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting isn't enough to hold OG in the game.
You see No Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will as they get upon him. They find his life. 1 minute now without No Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jerax. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jerax is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split across up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this racks on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers. He's losing a fair bit of mana into BL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to de-ward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Step's going to be the set. He's in. The call, the MP, the Catapult, and F5 is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. But Chalice it off. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Pots the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. Got the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball. The snowball over to Thompson. The self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of No Tail. FY will fall. Arme looking towards No Tail. No Tail puts the hand of God, but No Tail beaten down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Anna. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with a doppelganger. The deafening blast comes out onto the 2 of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo. Meatball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Pops the shield is gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus, and X-Nova is so low? As the buyback for Jerax comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the attraction. They find him. He's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strength, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find the ball? They can! OG are still in the game. Arme buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without 2 of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jerax onto that shrine, being able to save Anna, but Anna also toying with them with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's really hard to kill him.
Seb,
Yeah.
he's looking straight for the play. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting. Somnus, he's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh! Doesn't get the call though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Anna, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus puts the BKB. Anna again with the doppelganger. They see Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Anna will be able to force him away. They've got the hex. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice gone for 2 minutes. And Seb, he's finding, looking for Arme. Big Daddy No Tail gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion though. Arme able to waveform up to the high ground. Zame should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost, he's got him
Maybe
soon too.
Oh, the doppelganger Arme's over the trees. Can he hide his way out of this?
Let's go, Axe, real one.
Goes for the waveform. Seb tries for the call, but he's already out of there. Nice play from Arme.
And he buys so much time too for his team there. The Brewmaster was dead for 120 seconds, now only 90.
Still a big window for OG. They're only without Jerax for the same amount of time.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here for the Game 2 draft between CDEC and EHOME. It is MLP Dota and John Expired. John, we're here for the second game. Well, CDEC, they've got a one-game advantage, sir, and I wonder, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, you know, EHOME, they've got to kind of shake it up a bit. They ended up playing a bit farm game up against the Spectre. And Siler was doing his best, but he wasn't really up to form in terms of itemization on that Naga, just not quite enough to stem the tide of CDEC. So we'll see what EHOME does decide to do here. CDEC, of course, just looked really good right now. Again, just this past year, every single time CDEC has met EHOME, they have kind of won 3-1 in series overall the past year. So CDEC most certainly does have EHOME's number, and EHOME, well, they've got to figure out how exactly to crack CDEC here.
Yeah, I have to agree. And, you know, it was a bit of a different draft from EHOME, though, that game one, right? Because we're not used to seeing them play these kind of very passive lanes and these really hard farming cores like Silas Naga Siren. It's not something we're too used to seeing. Usually speaking, we usually see a very early pos one, like a Troll Warlord, for example, would usually come out for Siler, and he'd start really being able to snowball from there with his team. I think the Naga may have just been way too slow of a pace for him, but this time around it looks like they may be switching things up. Of course, CDEC went for that first pick Venge. EHOME will respond straight away with the first pick Phoenix. I wonder what they're going to prioritize for this second pickup now.
Yeah, you know, you don't quite have the best things to hold people down with that Phoenix. I mean, they banned out the Treant themselves, so they won't have the overgrowth. They banned out the Mars themselves, so you're not going to have the Arena. So all the basic setups to get a great egg isn't quite there. Maybe that's not going to be EHOME's focus. Of course, the Phoenix by itself does have great sustain, great damage in the lane, so it's really nice to have. They do go with Witch Doctor.
Oh,
okay. Yep, and this is such a weird support coming out from EHOME. Not something you see too often anymore. Great sustain. All right, so you've got the Phoenix Sunray, you've got the Witch Doctor's aura, and really help sustain you. Witch Doctor's stun is unreliable, but nice when it chains. Super annoying to play against. Maldic, still a great spell. Just a wonky cooldown now, and Death Ward is strong if you can get it channeled. CDEC don't. I do have a lot of ways to counteract this. The Venge alone stops the Witch Doctor from being massively annoying. You've got two ways basically to stop the Death Ward from going through, and Venge isn't going to be too worried about the bouncing task. And CDC does pick up the Weaver for themselves as well. We have seen like a support Weaver every now and again. We'll see if CDC wants that, but it's minus armor is coming out here, right? You have the Wave of Terror, you've got Weaver bugs. They are going to be chipping away at that durability, and we'll see if EHOME will kind of figure that out and ban out something like the Slaughter or something like the TA here, because they can really build off this kind of draft.
But it's not only that, right? You've got a hero that can really get between the team fight and the egg, and just burst it down with that
10 seconds remaining.
with Sakuchi and Germinating Attack. It's very easy for the Weaver to just get rid of the egg pretty much by himself, even as a support Weaver. Like, yeah, maybe it becomes a little bit complicated once you hit that level 2 or 3 egg. Might not be able to get rid of the 4 egg by yourself, but at that level 1 stage, this Weaver should just be perfectly fine. Though I love the pick from EHOME now. They go into that signature Beastmaster of Faith Beyond. And EHOME, you know, every time I do see this Beastmaster pop out, it does bring a lot of confidence out of me.
Yeah, Fate Beyond is such a super solid Beastmaster player that we know what to expect. It does play nice to the sports you have here. The sustain you're getting from the Phoenix and Witch Doctor means that your push potential does shoot massively. So EHOME can actually play pretty darn fast here. They still don't have the safest way of keeping that Phoenix up, though. Again, they've kind of taken away all the AoE control you want. So it is going to be really hard to protect that egg. It's really going to be just down to positioning here for EHOME. Not the easiest thing to do. You already mentioned Weaver being a big factor. And it's just not going to be the best time to rely on it. I don't think you want to rely on that egg at all. Key thing is going to be beyond score targets. You want to maximize that spell once it's up, play aggressive, melt the towers early, and shut down the map.
What he's doing though on these fast. He should be going into this matchup as CDEC will respond with the Tusk. Throws a bit of a spanner in the works. Is this a core Weaver, a core Tusk, or a core Venge that we're seeing? More than likely a core Weaver, but you never know because there has been a bit of offlane Tusk being run as well. So now I'm confused. What's going on?
Well, it's not quite clear just yet. There's not the most direct synergy here. But in this case, I love the Tusk mainly because if you do go all in on like the Roar, Tusk is just going to save that Roar target every single time if it's not Tusk. So you get so much value from having the Tusk around. I think a fast blink is going to really help you get that done much more consistently, and CDEC's kind of setting themselves up quite nicely. Now, the Ember pick from EHOME does make it harder for them, mainly because they don't have that lockdown to keep that Ember in its place. So there's a lot of leeway for EHOME to dip in and out, tear through the back line here. They've kind of got to find some really good control for the Ember if that's something they're worried about. Venge just doesn't get that job done too well. Like, the stun is great, Ember can dodge it out, swap is nice, you know, like it's nice, but it's just gonna be
Very true. CDEC, they will respond now with a Morphling, which is rather interesting. I didn't really see too much of a reason why you'd go for the Morph, but I guess there are some decent Morph targets. Like, you've got the Ember there, you've got even the Witch Doctor with paralyzing casks can be quite infuriating. And the Phoenix Icarus Knife can be a nice escape mechanism for the Morph. Overall, though, the Ember should be able to freely just build into a Spirit Vessel here. But if this is a core Weaver, or even a support Weaver, and they do go for the Ags build, which more than likely will happen, that Morphling is going to be a pretty big headache to deal with. Because you can just keep time-lapsing over and over again. It's like, how do you kill him?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to put a lid on that, for sure, if CDEC decides to go that route. EHOME, I think they would want a little bit more, well, in terms of their control. Like, it's odd to say that when you have the Beastmaster, it just looks super single target. Beyond, like, Witch Doctor getting some good casts off, that you can really see the Morphling be a massive issue for it out, as you mentioned. It's going to be key for their Ember to hit that good timing. In this case, the Morphling I don't think is really going to be about morphing into. I mean, it's always useful, of course. You want to maximize that. I think in this case, you're just looking at forcing EHOME to make a decision. Do they try to burst down the Weaver? Do they try to burst down Morphling? You are going to have to expend that Roar in one of these two heroes, and one of them is going to be able to get away. Of course, on top of that as well, like, if you do go for the Weaver, Morphling can still focus on the egg pretty quickly. Just really good right clicks, even if you get the Fire Spirits off. Morphling just has insane agi. Just kind of ignores that for the most part.
CDEC, one last pickup now. You want to round this off, and this will really explain what the draft's going to be doing. Arguably, we're still looking for a mid pickup here to go up against that mid Ember. XM had a great time last game around in that park. They definitely could choose to run it again if they really wanted to, just to add some team fight here for the side of CDEC.
Team pick.
Oh. Okay, so they run the Necrophos themselves now. And the question I have, is that a mid Necrophos?
That's a tricky one. You could certainly run it there. How confident I am about the mid Necro up against the Ember is a bit different. I think Ember does have ways of playing around that. Necro shouldn't be bullied out though, unless you go for like chains and always land them. There are ways for the Necros to play. There are ways for the Ember to put that one out. It's an interesting last pick from CDEC. It almost feels like they took to deny it because that would have been a great way to burst down the morph consistently. Even though it probably not the best pause one in the world, it can really just punish morph quite nicely. So maybe that's part of the reason they go into it. You don't have the best sight targets. Like, even the Ember, if he has his flame guard up, it's not really easy to burst him down.
I'm intrigued. Generally speaking, yeah, I mean, the Ember usually has a really nice time up against that Necrophos. Like, it is nice lockdown for the Ember with that Reaper Scythe, but if you don't just immediately kill him, it's not great. It does kind of work nicely though with the Morphling, right? Because if you get an Ethereal Blade in that Morph, you amplify the Reaper Scythe damage. Blade plus the Adaptive Stack is more than likely going to get through enough HP that the Reaper Scythe should just kill the Ember anyway. EHOME seemed to be a little bit concerned about this for a little bit, but eventually we see Medusa pop up, and I believe that'll be a safe lane Medusa coming out, which, you know, in all fairness, it's not that bad of a pick. The only problem is, though, it seems as though XM is going to be playing a mid-weaver, and so
it's nothing to say in the Medusa. It's gonna be mid, it looks like.
Oh,
and Sylar and the safe lane Ember? I think that's fine. Like, Medusa mid is probably one of the better lanes because you can dip into the jungle easier from the lane and pop back in. The key thing for EHOME is, number one, it's very scary when a Morphling shifts into the Medusa. Like, the durability is not there with a mana pool, but he hits a lot harder. You know, he has a lot of better stats. That's something to watch out for now. Really easy for SCCC to opt for that. One thing for EHOME as well, when you pick that Medusa, you play around that ult. The gaze is going to be super important in how EHOME controls the fight, and this is how they get off the Phoenix Egg. You can't run into the Phoenix Egg when you're running into the Medusa. It's just super risky. So you've got decent ways of team fighting now in EHOME. CDEC though does feel a lot more explosive. They put a lid on the Medusa. Don't allow it to farm. It can be hard for Medusa to actually have that great presence.
even if she does though, like, I still get concerned looking at XM on that Weaver. You can really go through a lot of damage with this Weaver, like, and there's plenty of builds you can go for. Standard stuff we've been seeing is, you know, the Axe build, right? But that's been a support Weaver. He could easily use Ludesso and be a real powerhouse in terms of auto attacks on this Weaver. Like, if he did just want to go for a quick defusal, I wouldn't blame him up against the Medusa. But in fact, it seems XM is actually running down bot, and Arme is going to take over the mid lane.
Oh, that's a much more volatile lane now. Like, there is some really good damage coming out from Ame that can fly, and of course he's super squishy. You have to bounce that back pretty nicely. This will allow the sideline to be a bit more aggressive though. It's like Weaver is just naturally harder to deal with, just so much more slippery. So much more slippery, and it can get pretty tricky. You can have a really good damage amp here from Victoria and James. Like, the wave coming out and the tag team can make it super easier for Weaver to find those early kills.
30 seconds to battle.
I wish I understood these voice lines, man. Yeah, they sound hilarious, but I'll read up on it later. There wasn't enough time before the cast to actually figure out what they were saying. Top lane, of course, SRF going to be on the Necrophos, but more importantly, bot lane, there is going to be a bit of an early engagement coming in.
The battle begins.
But except he was thinking about going still with the Sakuchi. He won't bother any longer. He'll just back off, and it appears the fight over that top banner still remains, as Sylar is not giving up on it, and he does even it out 2-for-2 for his team. If he hadn't gone for that, of course, it would have been a 3-1. They don't seem to want to give any kind of gold away to the side of CDEC.
Yeah, you don't want to have them have that little advantage. Both teams can make use of that quite well. One thing to note, though, is that we do still get the Ember Necrophos lane, right? Like, we were talking about this lane potentially in mid, is our top lane, actually, and this is something we saw last time. The pros kind of found some kills early on, what as impactful as you'd expect. We'll see if SRF can kind of change that pace here.
I don't know about this. SRF gets coconut up with that flame guard. He doesn't die, but he takes so much damage. That's at level 1, but now the shots come in from James. He didn't go for the tag team. SRF forced the ferry fire, but Sylar, underestimating the amount of damage they had, does go down, and SRF with a very nice bait on that ferry fire death pulse, able to just get that burst in time.
That's a good start for CDEC. Already a bit of a better time in terms of this top lane. SRF hit level 2, so he has that self-sustain with a Heartstopper now. And why?
Oh, why? Yeah, he might just die. Yeah, so if he's gonna have the damage. That is already 2-0 for this Necrophos. This should be a lane he's losing. But so far, it seems as though he has really established dominance in this lane already, and it's gonna be a big gold boost for him.
Radiant's
Yeah,
bottom tower
it's not just a gold boost. I think it's more important that he gets these kills for the Heartstopper. He's back to full mana. So you're gonna have to eat, like, what, 3 death pulses to shove him out of lane.
That's not gonna be fun. Of course, looking over to that mid lane for a moment, nothing to say. It's gonna be there to the booster. We have Arme playing the Morphling. They're just gonna trade farm. For now, nothing to say. Is gonna find himself on top of the CS board. Which I suppose is expected in some way, because the Morphling has to be really careful how much damage he takes from that Mystic Snake. Because it can really just burst you down and not pay attention to where your stats are the Morph.
Yeah, it's trickier for Morph to kind of juggle with that, because bounces are semi-unpredictable. And I have to say, this is not something we saw last time, but nothing to say, because of his battle pass levels, has that special attack animation. Look at his projectile. It's
That's
just
very nice.
It's golden. Oh yeah, look at that golden projectile. Ooh.
Thank you for that, John. You always notice the important things in these games.
It's so shiny.
Well, bottom lane, Faith Beyond and Sync gonna be there. They're playing up against XM, whilst the Venge as well. That is Victoria. Should be just perfectly fine here. Like, they can slow him down a little bit with this Phoenix, but ultimately the Weaver's gonna have a free lane. You know, Faith Beyond, yeah, he can focus a lot on just ensuring they get a lot of denies off, but this is becoming... How is SRF on a triple kill now? Why was for a pull, in all fairness, so he couldn't exactly help, but now SRF's gonna hit that level 4 mark. He's gonna outlevel the Ember. And his farm is going to start really going through the roof.
Yeah, it's actually not that easy for the Ember. Like, you can burn through the Flame Guard even at level 2 very fast. Little trees when that kind of sustains itself, but for now, it's super easy for SRF to damage it off. Sleight of Fist at level 1 is long cooldown. You can't exactly dodge every single time, and SRF just should have found so much. Again, the hero kills are more important for the Necropros in terms of region. So you're back up to 300 mana. You're not having this guy out anytime soon.
They're gonna try. Why not get a courier? No, courier was just a bit too quick. James now gonna rotate back in and with his presence. Why seemingly just gonna stick around now and just ensure that if they do make the jump, he'll be the help. But now he might die.
Oh.
They do spot him. Why just chop the tree down and run away? This is partially not what you want either, right? Because you don't want Wyatt soaking XP off the Ember.
Oh.
You definitely want to try and give as much XP over to that Ember Spirit so you can hit that 6 mark and be a bit more self-sustainable. But he's really got no choice. He has to just babysit Sylar up until that level 6 is there.
And he's not really able to trade too well. Like, he's not able to go into right-click SRF because we'll put him in range for the death pulses as well. So there's a lot of leeway for CDEC in this top lane, and they are making this Necrophos work a lot better than thought in game 1.
Maleficus, but Wyatt is probably going to be dead. He does throw the stun out, but James will help secure another kill for this Necrophos. Now the Shard Sylar, he has to run around. Snowball just waiting for the next passenger. And well, at least the double chains will save Sylar. That snowball actually kind of working against them, just really setting up those chains. In some weird way, you also kind of force Sala to go for those level 4 chains, which may not have been what he wanted exactly.
Nah, it does hurt him just a tad. They did already force out the Phoenix rotation there, so they free up their bot lane on top of that. So now Senku's just kind of forced to stack up, leave that lane, which gives XM easier time to farm up, which means you're not shutting down the wave while your safe lane members not finding too much farm.
Not great news for EHOME, what you're trying to say. It's
Yeah. It's not great trades. Man, those battle pass things just look
on the
question marks
Brian side though, like nothing to say he's having a great old time. He's basically free farmed the mid lane, 48 and 8 right now, and he's got stacks in the jungle. Like this could be a real problem for CDEC later on, where nothing to say just gets to that point where you just never get through the HP of the Medusa. Speaking of hard, Y is again being chased down, and shards are there, snowballs there. He is getting whacked away by these Medusa illusions, but ultimately can Sala get the chains off? He can, so he does at least get himself a trade. Almost got knocked off by the neutrals, had he got the auto attack, but at least Sala got a kill for himself. It's not all too bad.
Yeah, it does look like EHOME is going to be defending nearly entirely on nothing to say. Like his farm has been great. They have invested in the stacks for him. He hasn't been hunted down, so CDEC's not been roaming around, shut down the Medusa. That's a big boon for EHOME. It feels like CDEC should have some answers on hand though. Again, the Weaver with the diffusals, not too bad, and they should be able to get that early farm on, although you have to be a bit careful with Ame right now.
Ame. Low, just continue strength morphing a little bit. Still no real answer here for nothing to say. They've just left him alone, and all the focus has really been on Sala. SRF with that melody just continues running forward. He just wants to bait Sala in again. Of course, he does have help in the form of that Venge and Tusk around, and Jane will barely spot out Y on the Witch Doctor. He's not really in range to really initiate on yet. Just disrupt the pool there. Well, we'll get it off anyway, and now they do ping out Silo. SRF, he's got the Reaper Scythe, he wants to make something happen.
Yeah, how do you even lead against SRF? He has a sub 10-minute mech.
Oh my goodness, that's...
It's like a mech brown boots.
He hasn't even got the Ghost Shroud yet, in all fairness, so like, he's not unkillable, but he kind of is with that much heal. It's, I don't know what you do. You just kind of accept the fact that Sala's going to struggle up until he gets a bit more XP and farm up.
Yeah, it's they are investing heavily here on CDEC. They're keeping their 2 spots up. They've been pinging that tier 1 for a while, so they want it gone. This is somewhat affecting XM's farm. Well, not quite, but you aren't slowing down Fate Beyond. So he has his Necrobook 1 up, and that means our Beastmaster can get decent push down or just clear out the jungle.
It'll just... It's hard to push XMs around. It looks like he's just gonna... Yeah, he's just gonna keep splitting up. Just farm the jungle, farm the lane. Keep pressuring that tower. Now, Sentry's down with the roll. They do get XM, but he has time lapse. A follow-up stun. He'll be fine. Off I go, says the bargain. Hard thing. In fact, he's gonna turn now to Y. He still has that Maledict on top of him, but he just doesn't care. He runs in with the Sakuchi, claims the kill, and I don't think Faith is going to be able to kill him back. And he's in prime position to get those 10-minute bounty runes as well. Faith is going to try and scare him off, and it looks like he's done so successfully.
Yeah, I still think you're happy for finding those kills, though, on the side of CDEC. You've just given yourself a nice bit of an injection. They do still manage to find Backroon in that dire area anyway, so overall, still gonna be very happy. The only thing CDEC hasn't put a lid on is that Medusa, so you see, you can say it does have the early Yasha up. XM is making a jungle rotation. I don't think it's quite enough to put the lid on that, though.
I need some help. Does scout out, Syncue getting caught, but we'll just Sunray over the shards. They still haven't found that T1, and so in all fairness, as much as SRF had a great time, if you're not able to find the objective, you can't start really making plays across the map, and Of course, EHOME aren't going to have the same problem because they have a Beastmaster. Silas successfully defending this top tier 1 tower, and we're almost 11 minutes in now.
Radiant's
And it's really
middle
more
tower
just
is
Flame
under
Guard.
attack.
He's just Flame Guarding the whole creep wave. Except though, just standing right there waiting for Sylar. Sylar has remnants out and he'll be fine.
Radiant's
Sorry, I
bottom
couldn't
tower
get the
is
scout
under
off to really get a stop off, but that'll finally allow this tier 1 top tower to go down only after EHOME has secured the bottom tier 1.
Yeah, it does end up being a bit even in terms of trades. It does take a lot more investment from CDEC, right? Like they had to have 3 heroes there and get it done. Even the earlier heroes, it needed 2 cores to push that tower. So you are missing out on some free farm there, and you leave EHOME pretty close here.
He's alright. Faith has the raw, so you just don't have enough DPS output right now. Instead, Faith will just continue pressuring. I'm gonna farm up that Necro 3 book. And of course, I think the time we really start playing against that walk is when the Spirit Best was in Q. He's got the urn up now, so it's still a while off, but he's on his way. He may die though, as we apparently big Sylar, but they are nowhere near Sylar right now, so just trying to play some mind games with the side of EHOME. See, just continue to smoke up and roam across this mid lane, but a lot of things came out as James ran underneath the sentry ward. He's in biz right now, James. I'm not able to find anybody.
Yeah, it would have been really big if they did catch up. Nothing to say. Fortunately, they don't manage to get that done. One thing about EHOME's build-up, you mentioned Sinq going to the vessel. I believe Sylar has been building up towards that as well. So, slightly inefficient there, but I get more options on hand.
Remnant away from Sylar. He's still being chased. Reaper Scythe.
Oh,
Kick your poison. And the bounty has been claimed. Love those battle pass points, John.
oh yeah, really important. And in the end, they did find it. Oh, they set one out.
That's a bit harder one. I don't know on CDEC. They want nothing to say. They'll take his farm, but that doesn't count. Oh, all right. Faith Beyond now on the bounty list as well. Just CDEC really just
top tower is under
marking
attack.
these bounties on the side of EHOME. I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to find them in time, but you never know. Nothing to say is around James right now. Though James, say he does have a hawk to scout out there, so perfectly fine regardless of them jump. Also has the mag style up. He really should be okay. Oh, Snowball gonna come in, tag team activated, war response and shots, but you'll see EHOME coming in now. He can't eliminate with that morph of the Ember, nothing to say, he's out of mana, but they found XM in that chain. However, he does time lapse in time. Now the Raw, the spec is there from Morphling, and nothing to say, he's gonna be in trouble. Look, swap coming out from Victoria now, just getting XM back out of there with the stun, nothing to say, so close, bounty is claimed. Beyond is to be next apparently, but go after Y instead. Faith, you gotta run. There's a bounty in your head right now.
Oh man, that was one of the cleaner initiations for EHOME. They got the stone guys off, they got the egg off. It's just not enough to dissuade CDEC. Right now, it's not, you know, you're not big enough in any of these heroes to take these fights, and damage is there from CDEC now. Like, they have ways of, they can eat right through the Medusa. She doesn't have the best stats. It's not that tanky just yet. They need to protect, nothing to say. Drag him out, get him to farm up. Just all the small plays, like those swaps to get the stuns off. It's just really, it's just so much on point in EHOME. They need a lot more wards, which is weird to say. You have a Beastmaster, you have Hawks. You just need a lot more vision here to stop these movements, because CDEC, they've been playing so aggressive.
You mentioned as well, they have the items now up and the damage to really dish out to nothing to say. It got even better after the team fight, John. XM's got a Deso up now. So
yeah,
now they really have some damage up. And, well, they're going to play the delay game. They understand, they've got a Medusa. We'll keep farm. That's the name of the game, for nothing to say. And he's still their worth for it, regardless of that last engagement. So nothing's been set in stone quite yet at all for EHOME. However, smoke up, they've got the raw, they've got the net. It's want to go on for a 2-1. Straight on SRF, just popping the egg immediately. Let's swap out from Victoria though, and that'll allow SRF to just heal himself up. He continues this chase, however. SRF slowly being burned away and does die, but now they will come to chase from XM. Trying to go after CQ, but the Spy Spirits not allow him to finish. In fact, never mind. They get the kill, and now they also get both support. Why? He'll go down as well. James trying to make a chase onto Fate Beyond. He has shards in a few seconds, but that'll be enough. They'll lose SRF, they'll find supports as a trade. Ultimately, EHOME, they do make some more gold out of that.
Yeah, really nice trade for them because they do manage to finally pull off that Necros. It did take quite the investment, like an egg and roar. Not gonna have those tools in the next minute or so, but it's not gonna be that long. Tapered after fight, hello. This does mean that it goes straight to Corrosion. You see that minus armor, Mike? Wave of Terror plus Desolator, plus the Weaver Bugs. No armor on Roche.
Yeah, that's not nice. Poor Roche. Having to stand there naked and people he doesn't even know. So, playing the delay game. Just keep playing the delay game. Interestingly enough as well, John, you kind of brought up the fact that Sylar and Xingqiu were buying spirit vessels. Looks like Xingqiu sold his now.
Okay, that's good.
It's good and it's not, right? Because you just lost half that gold. So it's... This communication does tend to cost you a bit of gold here for the side of EHOME. At least the spirit vessel on Sylar will slowly be coming up now. He just needs the recipe and is most of the way there. It's a bit hard to farm when Arme's just sitting there farming right next to you, but he'll pop the flame gun. Arme just stands his ground. Sylar may eventually be forced to just get out of here, although nice chains is there, and he will have to run it out. Meanwhile, there's the CDEC. They've smoked up. They'll take an Arcane Rune. It'll be on XM, so that Sakuchi speed is a lot faster all of a sudden, and he finds an Implore on his way in. They get Y on the Witch Doctor, and the rest of EHOME appear to be safe. They'll just get out of there. But I worry when I look at that CDEC now, John. 7k away of the Radiant, and you're up against the Medusa lineup. That's not good news for EHOME.
Oh, it most definitely isn't. Now, EHOME at least is still matching with nothing to say, but all of your other cores are getting shafted, completely shafted. For that one hero, nothing to say has a lot of burden on his shoulders to carry, and he just might be able to. Like, you don't really need too much farm from your supports, from even Fate Beyond, to be honest. You just need to land a spell, land him right, and XM, he is pretty far forward for that tier 1.
Oh, XM does get changed up. He has time lapse though, he'll just scooch you away. That's not the target they wanted. They'll throw the egg down with the raw strength. Yes, Victoria trying to swap him out. He will survive, but the egg is taken away, and SRF does eventually go down, and so does Victoria. A great team fight from EHOME already. And poor old James get caught out of position. Well, he has no choice but to try and fight, but he will not get through the HP of CQ. And that seems to be the just the way to do it, right? You get off SRF, and suddenly the rest of the CDEC, they didn't look that strong. So I say that Arme is just happily going into Y. We've got Tier chase, but XM trying to sneak his way into that back line. Y does drop a sentry ward preemptively with the Melodic. XM doesn't have time lapse for another 5 seconds. You have to be a little bit wary of that. Now Arme trying to find this Witch Doctor. Y almost daring them to keep going, and eventually XM just TPs out.
Has been killed.
Yeah, nice win for EHOME with those 3 kills. They do miss out on the outpost though. Like, they did not have the top in time, so that's still a lot of EXP going away of CDC. But they are starting to bounce in just a bit. Again, when it comes down to it, if you can split CDC up, your spells out, find those kills, then you can win out. You don't need that much farm in the other heroes. It's really down to Medusa. And as long as EHOME keeps playing aggressive, keeps using that superior vision they can get from Nox to find these isolated targets, then they can bounce back in. CDC's not quite up just yet in terms of complete farm. And yeah, they're starting to set bounties themselves, EHOME.
Oh. They smoke straight away. They are not lying. They want to go for this Weaver right now. And even avoiding the Tusk, they go after Victoria, but they'll run into Arme. Now that's a huge target, but he waveforms out there as soon as he sees the Axis flying. And, well, James, he'll tank the gank. In fact, he might find even more than that. Why? He'll get stunned up, but James understands he's going to die for the sake of his team running out. That does actually Arme to get the full Ethereal Blade out now. The Morphling, he trying to burst someone down with the shotgun, tries to get the chains off, getting through the Flame Guard. It's not enough. That Flame Guard was still active. Arme just going to have to run. Swap out from Victoria. That may cost that support Venge kill. In fact, no. EHOME, they don't want to chase up the hill. They'll leave it be. Not worth the risk. And ultimately, EHOME, they just leave with the Tusk kill.
Yeah, it's not the biggest song. No?
He's showing himself, John. Maybe has a blink up. Does also have the roar, and CDEC know how much out of EHOME love roaring up SRF. Continues to just show himself, baiting the side of EHOME in. But the Ace now does inspire on Arme, and that'll be Q to leave. Or maybe it won't be X corner. Yana does go down. Bounty claim.
Yeah. It is getting a bit harder for XM to maintain his presence, mainly because Fate Beyond has had the Necro tree for a while. So they do have free vision on the Weaver whenever he shows his face, and you have to be careful about that. It's saving up for his Lincoln, so once that's up, it's a bit more complicated to immediately roar him up. But I'm sure you can adjust your initiation for that, and you now are starting to look a lot nicer. Nothing to say is rushing the Butterfly. So it does have the Eagle song up and running from the Secret Chopper, should have it up once the Courier flies out. And it just means the damage output, I can say, gets that much nicer. It's going to be a lot harder to deal with the raw right clicks of the Medusa when you do hit these points. Of course, you still have to hit level 25 is when it's best. You get your mana, additional mana, super tanky, and you're not quite optimized on CDEC to counteract that. We're not seeing any defusal at all. So it's going to be a lot harder to eat through that mana shield.
Been a lot of focus from CDEC to just try and get those Lincoln Spheres up. Is that roar from Faith Beyond has been quite hard to deal with. Of course, you have one on the Morph, and now they're trying to build one on XM. You see a smoke up. Past the and we'll see Q up at the top lane very, very soon. See, we'll have Icarus available, but now it's very, very obvious. XM, he goes for the Diacourier. It was CQ's Courier after all. He'll go to the tree line and just hide and take away immediately, and the smoke will essentially lead to nothing.
Yeah, it's a bit of wasted time as well. That was time they could use to farm up. At this point, SRF's been kind of shafted. He's level 14 on that Necro. It's not been steady progression. The items have kind of stalled out, although he does have enough to finish up the Guardian Greaves. That is going to be a nice spike for him as well. Let's see if it's going to be enough to sustain him, though.
Mid lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
One tower could go down very, very easily. EHOME now. Have that roar up. Would love to find another kill.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
CDEC still just playing the avoid game. You do have that Lincoln Sphere on XM, so you might be feeling slightly more confident. Got it. If that is not the case, they might be just happy to farm up a bit and drag this out a bit later on.
It does start to get worrying though. Like, again, that's a Medusa. You already have the Butterfly and nothing to say. I mean, you're getting some great farms as well on Morph. You're about to hit that BKB point for Ame. It just doesn't feel like you're going to be able to face up against Medusa just yet. Let's say has managed to find his space on the map.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
They just push down the bottom tier 1, tier 2, no problems at all. mid lane though is being forced in by CDEC. Will be glyphed. Like CDEC might just wait for the next Roshan, but it's going to be around 2 minutes from now.
Dire's middle
It's not the
tower is
fastest
under
timing ever. Might be just an idea to maintain the high ground. They do split out Faith Beyond, but can you actually break the gap and take the man out? He has been quite elusive on this Beastmaster.
Yeah, CDEC are kind of hesitant at the fight. They've just lost out on a bit too much in the past few fights. That EHOME has gotten a great foothold now. Their 6k lead is just down to 3k. So they are starting to slip out in terms of that advantage they were holding on to, and they've got to wait for a bit more. I mean, they already have the BKB on Ame, which should be enough. It's just why he's so far forward.
Think about a kill onto Tyler. Does have the BKB like you mentioned, so might just be feeling confident, but he wants to farm that hard lane. He is going to be surrounded, however. Tyler going to go out with the chains. Not going to be afraid, just be fine, just walk out of there safely.
Yeah, this time farming up though doesn't feel like it's being as efficient for CDEC. Like they don't really clear camps the fastest. At least when you look at SRF, it's that fast. XM has been going at a decent pace. But you take a look at these building into it. Looks like a it's the you call the thing that increases range guys. Yeah, the Dragon Lance. It's the MKB. So the MKB is going to be super useful against the Dudes, of course, for the Butterfly, but it doesn't feel like it comes fast enough.
I mean, the farms just slowed down so much for CDEC. They've only got a 2k worth advantage now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And, well, EHOME just playing around that Medusa. Nothing to say, we'll just slowly push that tier 2 top tower, and there will be absolutely zero defense. I mean, too glyphed in the end. XM does find the bottom tier 2, so a direct trade. In fact, not even, because that glyph was enough to force EHOME back, but it looks like they're just trying to kite them in. We'll go back after that tier 2. SRF just on the front lines right now on that Necrophos. Meanwhile, a Roshan attempt is trying to be stolen here by the side of CDEC. They've got a double damage there on Ame, but EHOME seem to be aware of this. It might be too late. That Roshan is so low, but the Stonegate started. The Icarus dive with the bait, gets in there with the Raw now. Nice swap out from Victoria, but the Roshan will go to nothing to say, and now Victoria will die. And Remnants forward onto the task. James, he should be caught out here by Sylar. Eventually, they will be able to get this kill as the snowball is going to go back into the Ember. And they tried to just steal it, but it was a bit of wishful thinking there. And EHOME now, huge advantage. You look at nothing to say, even Q's up the rapier. They're confident.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much fully started up. Might as well go all in. CDEC, they didn't have any sentries around. That was a hog from Beyond spotting that out. They weren't ready. They were just forced into it without the vision, and that cost them.
Now, how do you stop this tier 3 push? Like, it's going down so quick, nothing to say, we'll eventually just get it. And Max, again, you just can't deal any damage to the Medusa right now, so he's going to keep getting away. Now, swap in onto the Medusa, nothing to say, he has the ages, he should feel very, very safe. Victoria may not feel very safe as he does. Reaper's side is there from SRF, but again, that's only the first life. Ethereal, gonna come out, but really does nothing. They really want to make this jump, but nothing to say he's always daring them to do so by just waiting. You've also still got the roar up on Faith Beyond.
Radiant's bottom tower
And EHOME happily go secondary rats.
Radiant's bottom tower
Egg gets home. Gonna be dropped. James snowball in, gets chained up. They can't protect him with that egg. And it's going to be a buyback. But that's going to be a secondary Rex coming down. They really need to do something about nothing to say. He stone gazes. Be a swap. There's going to be no follow-up. Stone gaze just keeping everyone back. Victoria will buy back as well. Shan't won't lock him in, but nothing to say. He is low on mana. Not low enough. Just the team is still more than happy to fight. And that'll be it. EHOME will walk out. CDEC will lose their opportunity to try and make a chase happen. And suddenly, the side of EHOME, they just trust in their Medusa. They're 2 racks ahead.
Yeah, they've gotten an 8k lead as well. Off that gold bouncing back into the wave EHOME. And CDEC, it's starting to look like they missed a bit of an opportunity. They missed out with how they itemized. They could not hunt, nothing to say. They didn't really hunt him as well, right? Like, he was in the jungle a lot. They weren't locking that jungle in. So nothing to say was given a way back in. The timings from CDEC weren't quite enough, although they did smoke up. They want to keep going.
And you kind of have to. Can't just keep playing this out and letting nothing to say just get whatever he wants. In fact, he has the gold for full divine rapier. Oh, he went for the Daedalus. For a safer build, understanding being 2 racks ahead, there's no need for a divine. You're gonna look around. Oh, he's gonna have the Daedalus though. He gets it just in the nick of time. The courier goes down, but it's too late. He already picked up the item. Now the team fight begins, but you've already lost. Why? So EHOME will fight for them. Buyback will be there from one, the Witch Doctor, but CDEC just unable to really capitalize on anything right now. Back Psylocke running up towards Victoria. They know he has no buyback, and Victoria is gonna die on that Venge. And now Faith trying to go after James. Psylocke with that Axe Remnant will be able to catch him out, and there is no way out of that situation. He just locks himself in.
And CDEC, they're the ones to smoke up for that. They only really find a Witch Doctor who buys back, goes back in. And EHOME now have all the opportunities to really take that last racks. Like, the options are growing limited here for CDEC.
They'll push the top lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Sun great play out, just keeping everyone up. SRF, oh, he's been chained up. He does go to the ghost route, but for now, wait for him from Arme. He's been stone gazed though. Arme.
No.
Yeah, that's it. There's a plan, but they might just call GG. Yeah, they're enough. Gonna be up against Mega Creeps and EHOME. They forced to game 3. Of course, we the pleasure of going into that that post-match analysis to really see what happened there. But man, it looked so good for CDEC for the first half of the game. Just one.
FY, he's found himself No-Tail out on his own.
He's trapped him.
There's No-Tail. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, he's not. There's 3 still dead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here for No-Tail as Arme comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped his BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off, and he cast it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
Yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
And doing a ton of damage in the fight. One of the most damage in the game as an offlane.
now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're going to struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Eric's did his best to keep Ana alive, and but Ana wasn't able to do damage because he was ruptured. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Seb.
Oh, I'm just ninjas here.
Got to be
Watch
careful who
Jerax.
shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Arme to have this invis route. As Arme will show himself. Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Someone is not messing around rupturing.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, and as well. Between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so just playing around with Seb.
He has no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's just toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed, FY, the patience, keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is loving the PL.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeks. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage with the team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, see, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those blink calls out as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, full I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save. He's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in this series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Centaur creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The Blood Bright Silence connects. He's got the Manta back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. And X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen as the mid-racks are exposed. PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out as Anna in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the three of them knocks them back. But Anna gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close to Brew is at 25.
So close.
With that primal split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball, he turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail, FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I give the head for this team fight. The LGD are goal, but no blood take over 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs, they give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They bought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No Tail's praying for a Rosh right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be out. And maybe we'll dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right?
Yep.
It was up to a 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Anna's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X Blade Mail call if he finds him, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
It's just all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the smoke, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled. But
Anna, he's in the trees, they're on the high ground, they've got the vision with the Shiva's covered, Anna's on his way over, they've got the snowball down, there's the counterplay, Seb jumps in, he's able to find the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out, the Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb pots the BKB, he'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down, no buyback on the axe, as Jarex as well, surrounded by PSG LGD, the Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
he has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these 4 spirits. On the bottom rune, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jarex. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting, is it enough to hold OG in the game?
You see No Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will, as they get upon him. They find his life. 1 minute now without No Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jarex. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jarex is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split of course up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this Rax on the top lane will fall. The melee Rax gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers. He's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top Rax, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to de-ward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Step's going to get the set. He's in. The call, the MP, the cannon, but F5 is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. But it's not enough. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Pods the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. Got the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball. The snowball over to Thompson. The self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of Notel. FY will fall. Arme looking towards Notel. Notel pops the hand of God, but Notel beaten down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Anna. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with the doppelganger. The deafening blast comes out onto the two of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo. Meatball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Bombs the Shiva's gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus? And X-Nova are so low. As the buyback for Jerax comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the charge, and they find him. Arme, he's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strength, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find the ball? They can! OG are still in the game. Arme buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without two of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jerax onto that shrine, being able to save Ana, but Ana also toying with them with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's really hard to kill him.
Seb.
Yeah.
He's looking straight for the play. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting. Somnus. He's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh! Doesn't get the call, though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Anna, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus puts the BKB. Anna again with the double down. They see Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Anna will be able to force him away. They've got the hex. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice got for 2 minutes. And Seb, he's finding, looking for Arme. Big Daddy No-Tell gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion, though. Arme able to waveform up to the high ground. As Arme should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost, so he's got Hex
maybe
up soon too.
Oh, the doppelganger Arme's over the trees. Can he hide his way out of this?
No, back, real one.
Goes for the waveform. Seb tries for the call, but he's already out of there. Nice play from Arme.
And he buys so much time too for his team there. The Brewmaster was dead for 120 seconds, now only 90.
Still a big window for OG. They're only without Jerax for the same amount of time. And that lead the PSG LGD had, it is going down a little bit. Only 4K, 5K at the moment with these last few fights. Obviously the 25s now coming out on OG. Thompson's into the pit.
What a timely DD coming out for him too. I don't think they expected to be taken out as fast. He's almost able to solo it with the help of these summons. And that's a refresher shot. There's no way to get this. There's no way LGD can come.
Oh, and the Seb level 25 too. That extra Berserker's Call AoE. It catches people out. They don't expect it.
It does not feel like OG T-Rex now. At all.
The Berserker's Call now is, I mean, the AoE is
massive.
really massive now when you have that talent.
It's so hard to play against. Can PSG LGD do it? They've got the Basher now for Somnus. For just a 2K lead with those last big comeback plays from OG. Still 30 seconds without Chalice.
Double Hex coming out now. Thompson and these 5-second BKBs, yeah, I mean, they were crushing with their
FY.
Thompson's being spotted out.
Got the vision. They're on top of him. Thompson, he's in trouble. The nullify comes out, but he got the ghost walk off as well as the hex in time. Now, Saunders turns up. The blood runs down. Thompson! He's dead for 100. Has got the buyback available. PSG LGD will certainly look to force it out of them.
FY just what a shadow
catch.
blade. It just, yeah, as soon as they split up, he finds the perfect opportunity there on Thompson.
You got to be careful going out on the map when FY's alive. There's every chance in the world that he's going to be watching you from the trees.
And at this point, I think for Ame, it's actually going to be
10 seconds
very
remaining.
worth it for him to actually just try and burn all the mana from the Phantom Lancer, so we can't double game.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the third game draft between CDEC and EHOME.
seconds
It is an MLB Veteran Takes 5. John, we're back for our third game, sir, and, well, game 1 was quite a dominant victory for CDEC. Game 2 was a bit of a mixed bag between the two, but EHOME eventually managed to pull off the win. Game 3, I wonder what both these teams have in store for us. It's been a very, very mixed result so far.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Both sides have made sort of the same mistake in each game that they've won. So for CDEC, EHOME did not shut down the spec at all. And for game 2, nothing to say had way too much free farm on mid. So you're kind of looking at those big late game cores just getting all the space. And that's what both sides have lost. So let's see what not. Let's see a juggle up for both sides here. Like both of them refrain from drafting those big late game carries that get very wood farm, or if both of them end up picking up something that takes a while to come online and just riding it out till the late game.
Well, I was about to ask the question as to whether the CDEC was going to ban Beastmaster. That was seemingly the one big problem. That game for CDEC is they couldn't control Faith Beyond. They had to buy Lincolns on both the Morph and the Weaver, which is kind of against what they really want to do in the game. The Lincoln Sphere build is quite an old and somewhat outdated build for both those heroes, and Faith Beyond made sure they had to go ahead and spend the gold on that item. It didn't really pay off in the end. At the very least, they do ban it in the draft at the start, and EHOME is another team that seems to prioritize first pick revenge.
Earthshaker.
Yeah, I think it's really super valuable in certain lineups. It gives you great vision in the laning phase and further. You get great minus armor coming out, so that enables heroes like the Weaver. It enables something like the TA if it does come out here, and it's just a solid support to have. CDEC go for the Shaker once more and Queen of Pain, so they're the ones who want to play the big team fight, kind of jump in your face lineup once more. Of course, the Shaker is super good at blocking out certain parts of the map. Queen of Pain doesn't take too much farm to get online. It's just really potent, and for EHOME they tie it up with a DK, so they are trying to maybe throw a bit of flex there, although I really don't think that's been too much Faith Beyond here, but they've got that option if they want it. Still, if CDEC is going for the mid quap in this case, it should do better against something like the DK. Like, magic damage completely ignores what makes a DK sustainable in that lane, and that does allow you to just get a bit of an edge in terms of that matchup.
Yeah, it should. It's such a flexible hero. Like, we've seen it in the off, the safe, the mid. They could just mix it up wherever they want. And I don't think it cares. Like, sure, the Queen of Pain should have a decent match against the DK if they did run it mid. But from our experiences thus far, the DK really hasn't cared at all. Even when it is up against the Queen of Pain, it still secures the farm, it still makes the push happen, it still gets a blink and initiates for the team. I don't think they're gonna mind whoever's laning up against this DK. I don't think they care. whatsoever on the side of EHOME.
Radiant team pick.
Still, Monkey King and Medusa has been banned, and CDEC now to make their third pickup. Still looking for that position 5. They wanted to go for it now, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I find it fascinating though that they ban out the Medusa. You don't tend to see that ban out. But of course, game 2, they did give a bit too much space, and I can say. I wonder though, like beyond just the wonder, will they want to go for a slower pace again? Like both sides have been gravitating toward that longer game with these cores. The Spectre, still going to be an option for CDEC if they want to pick it up. Like it's not banned just yet. They do tie it up with a Lich. You do have the Shaker Lich duo, which can be pretty potent. I mean, the Lich is just such a stable support to have. Chain Frost can ruin people if they're not careful. We've seen it's really used to great effect from the laning phase into team fights. Just gives you a lot to work with.
There's the Phoenix again coming out. Confident with this hero. Well, we saw last game, CDEC, it seemed like they could deal with it, but it was just, there was so much going on with these team fights and so many great swap outs from Y to make sure that Phoenix Egg and everyone else really just survived.
5 seconds remaining.
And so CDEC now may have a few problems here, as they don't really have someone who really enjoys closing that gap and taking it down the egg. You could make the inbuilt blink, but it's not really something you want to do as a squad. Get in the middle of the team fight, you know, start hitting an egg of all things. The problem is just it doesn't do that either. So I do like the Phoenix pick up there. I'm just wondering now how CDEC are intending to respond.
Yeah, they could, bit of a long shot, they could still go with a Weaver if CDEC wanted to. Like it has decent reach. It's not gonna melt something with the DK though, but it will take care of that egg problem if you consider the problem CDEC's draft. And they go to Doom. Ooh, big beefy Doom comes out, and that's not something we see too often. Is potent. Like Doom is just very good when you land on a key target. You don't really see any big targets to Doom out though. Like, I guess the DK is fine. The Lycan would be the best target now for the Doom to go up into, but it's not going to be the easiest lane there for that Doom. Lycan can trade pretty nicely. Doom does not start with a good amount of armor. Really interested to see how exactly they go for the skill build in laning phase of Doom. We have, I believe we've tended to see them either gravitate towards the Scorched Earth or the Devour, or a mix of both. Like, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to keep the Lycan in check.
It's going to be hard. Like, we've seen EHOME on this Lycan before, and they tend to do quite well on it. Of course, again, they don't have the Beast Master, which is really what you want to run it with. You have something almost just as good with the DK and even the Venge. Of course, the Venge, even though it should be a +5, can build into the Helm of the Dominator if you want it to.
10 seconds remaining.
And really add to that push potential and aura potential that they already have.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, it's looking tough for CDEC, I gotta say, with this draft from EHOME, because they could really just finish this game so quick.
Yeah, it's potency is quite there. CDEC though, I think they do have decent ways of at least preventing the Lycan from going too far. It does rely on your Shaker positioning perfectly with a Fissure. So just blocking them from towers long enough, not easy. And you know, you can only do that for so long. So their last pick here for CDEC will really have to surprise us, because EHOME has kicked up the pace. Just hit 6 on DK and Lycan, and as you mentioned, the towers will just melt. So gotta find out how CDEC wants to play it. I don't think they want to go for a long draft here. Not against the Lycan. It's just so fast that something like the Spectre might really not find that space.
Final ban now from EHOME. All the Centaur being removed by CDEC, and they'll take a bit of time with this one, but like, we'll know what their final pick here. I mean, if they wanted to do something like the DP, it's still there, but no, they're going to run off lane, maybe even the safe lane Prophet. just depending on where you want to the line DK. All these lanes are so flexible from EHOME and CDEC.
Ooh.
Okay, that I was not expecting. We see a Sven come out. I don't think this hero is strong, John, but I guess it's great.
Yeah, I think that's that's really it. Like, they have good ways of taking out all those minions and summons that the Lycan and the NP will bring you. Don't worry about Kite's ability here. You will have to, I suppose, keep a Quelling Blade on hand as this Sven every single time. Wondering whether or not the Axe is going to be a priority buy for that Sven. You'd assume it would be because the movement you get from it is pretty darn nice. We'll see though. CDEC, rather strange, right? The Doom and Sven are really not that common, so I'm wondering how effective they can make that be. EHOME, much more straightforward, great timings for the push, great synergy with Revenge, and even the Phoenix, right? The egg being protected by Sprout is really one way to get that egg protected. So you can get that with EHOME now, and CDEC, they've got to show us something special with how they run this draft.
I look forward to it. This draft is something I get to see every day, and should be some fun to watch. We've seen it a few times. We know what's coming. Just a matter of the CDEC can hold back when that storm does come, because eventually it will pass. As soon as you can really, it's a pretty big storm that's coming with that lock and DK profit. It is in fact going to be the safe lane Lycan as well as the offlane prof. Nothing to say is going to be on that mid D, which is perfectly fine because again I don't think any of these lane matchups are really that.
No.
Maybe the Faith Beyond lane could be a little bit hard because of the Sven there, but
yeah, it's not gonna be too hard. I think the one thing I'll always be worried about with this Sven is the fact that he kited around. He could get kited pretty hard with a Sprout. Even like getting swapped around hurts the Sven a lot.
Prepare for battle.
It's really down to how much can you get out of your Sven without having him taken away from the fight, because that's a continuing issue we've seen with a hero.
yeah.
Even in this case, right? You buy a BKB, you're still gonna worry about the swap.
Yeah, that a lot of the damage that's coming out from EHOME doesn't really care for the BKB anyway. If you were going to go down that route, you've got this Lycan, you've got this DK, you've got this Prophet. None of which really care at all for that Magic community. I don't even know if Arme would even bother with the BKB this game. Seems maybe a little bit worthless. I'm not 100% on that yet, but only time will tell. Because I will have to also bring up some GG better.
30
Officially
seconds
starts.
to battle.
EHOME look to be the slight favorite going into this game, so it can still go either way. Nothing set in stone.
It's pretty tight. I think both teams, with their respective wins, look just as powerful as the other at their best. And this is probably one of the more even drafts. Right? You're not looking at late timings for player cores.
Begins.
It is all fairly even, although I would say EOS is most certainly a bit faster. Like, Sven does have a bit of time to cook up. But you're not seeing a disparity like the Medusa versus a faster core, or the Spectre versus a faster core. It's much closer in timings here, and that can be a bit interesting. Like, you don't have to really think about one hero just free farming in this case.
I wonder what kind of item build he will go for on Arme as well. Like, it's going to be really important for Arme to have a good game. It's like, once you get to those game stages, like, sure, the Quap does okay, but you are going to be very reliant on that spend to have that damage you need. We talked about that BKB, it's probably not even going to be necessary in this game to really have.
I know. I feel like you still want it just to prevent yourself from being kited from the stun of the DK. The stun of Avenge alone is going to be hard. And potential halberds. So you want to pop it preemptively and just start attacking. You have to start these fights. You cannot counter initiate because the disarm is just going to ruin this Sven. If ever we see like a halberd on, nothing to say.
Even then, I guess you can pick up a halberd, sync Q's there as well. Maybe I wouldn't mind picking one up on the profit. Plenty of options.
It's, just makes it really hard for that Sven. Oh.
Looking pretty even in the mid lane as you'd expect. The quad versus DK lineup, it just doesn't really do much in the form of entertainment. They both farm. Nothing to say. Once he gets that level 2 Dragon Blood, we'll have a much easier time with that passive regen, but for now he did opt for that level 2 Dragon's Breath. That's as well. Just trying to slow down XM and secure those range creeps from a distance.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty stable. Again, as you mentioned, no real kill ops. Slight lead though for XM, so just a bit of a better time there in terms of finding those creeps at least.
There is the you haven't really got much potential either to rotate supports in for that Queen of Pain. He's just kind of just fine. There's not enough stun to really keep him down long enough at these early levels to be able to secure that kill. Of course, up to the top lane, you'll see James there on the Earthshaker. He's going to be there with SRF, and you have Silent and Vi also there on the Vent Lycan. And it's kind of problematic here for SRF. You can't slow down Silent very much. You can turn on Scorched Earth and Bishop like this, but Silent should be okay to just run out. With that Feral Impulse, that passive regen is off from that Lycan. Once you get to level 2, he just goes nowhere. He just in lane constantly. Worst case scenario, he goes to the jungle a little bit, but ultimately there's just no way to slow him down.
Yeah, it's just a lot harder for the Doom to contest here, and you can already see that without SRF itemized. Went for the chainmail along with 2 rings of protection, just so that he won't get run down by the wolves. So that's a lot of early investment into armor just to maintain this lane.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. Got the Wave of Terror there as well from the Venge, which makes things really, really hard. CDEC trying to set up here on nothing to say. You've got James there in the back just waiting for a nice Fisher. Nothing to say. Came back in the Fisher. It will eventually come out. Nothing to say. Trying to find a gap. He finds one as well. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
See
that was tight.
Yeah, that was very, very much a nice slip through. I didn't expect the pattern to actually play in his favor, but that being said, it does waste the time of CDEC just a bit and frees up his side lanes, although I don't think you're going to be getting too much. Still, some time wasted in SM is out of region here.
This is that point on the Queen of Pain where it's a little bit difficult to see. Q does rotate him. Doesn't have Fire Spirit off cooldown, but now Fates it. And XM, did he pop Mega? He did. Doesn't work the same way as a Feral Fire. That's the real problem with that. Faith turns around with the Spread. Bank's gonna be in trouble now as the Magic Missile does fly out. I don't know if they have enough damage, but perhaps the body blocks couldn't even phase, couldn't really find the angling for it. But with the Wave of Terror and with the DPS output from Faith Beyond, nobody could really contest. They're all just getting brought down to such low HP pools. XM now, he's back in the mid lane, so have him jump in like this and just throw the Shadow Strike down. But you've got more help coming in at XM. Look for that blink, get his Magic Missile up, Faith Beyond. Have the teleportation back up for 5 seconds. Seeing people while just focusing on Victoria, flying through, but not connecting on anyone. But now XM get sunned up. There's Faith on the high ground now, getting Victoria on that ledge. They did at least get Sync as a trade. Now James will come in the Earthshaker, trying to secure Y. He's forced to Fisher the other side of the river to ensure that XM is able to walk out there safely. And it continues, like Faith Beyond going for that battery now. James is trapped up in the crowd. XM they're gonna come in. Faith has the urn. He's gonna try and man fight here up against XM, who just blink, but the breathe fire again. Not really convincing. So XM will be able to walk out. Now James will continue going on Faith Beyond. That'll be there. And now nothing to say mainly now there is XM is back into this team. Minus Pain should eventually drop. He tries to go for the Roshan line, does get it in time as well. such a prolonged fight, so many rotations and faith, he just denies himself.
That's a lot of commitment from both sides, of course. I'm sure the side lane cores are enjoying that. Like, you basically had no contestation. The Sylar gets to farm a lot safer. SRF as well doesn't have to worry about support rotations. And the one really to win out is Ame. Because Fate Beyond's not there, and he's not contested.
Where are you going? So you're getting both. What? It's just gonna come out. Now they mace it on James and no Sylar. He really wants that term. And we'll find him. I don't believe he'll have enough time for James though. Like and Wolf form should be over in a second. Still very important kill on the German. Still gonna enjoy that bonus golden XP.
Yeah, it's we're seeing the effect of EHOME's slightly faster draft. Like Fate Beyond is just able to get the rotations out. He's been active mid, he's been active top, he doesn't really care about waiting around with Ame. He understands this is just going to be able to find farm anyway at this point. So he just goes around trying to shut down everyone else, and has been kind of paying off. CDEC does still maintain a slight lead.
Well, it's just going to be there to try and like it. Yeah, for the unit around an SRF, he doesn't have the team yet. He actually opted to miss it. He is running with Scorched Earth, Magic Missile though from one to slow him down. Now seeing Q shows up on the Phoenix. They'll make the jump onto James. James trying to run away, but no, he's been body blocked up. And he will go down to Sylar of all people. Just walks in the kill. Meanwhile, not to say, gonna actually find Prey on the glitch. He's run away, but this time he will go down. Why actually want to secure the kill with the Wave of Terror? And the DK to get a bit of chip damage into this tier 1 tower. Back, go on to XM, try the power rune that doesn't even exist. Put the top lane. Why would he 3 rune for himself? None of the mid calls get the power rune they wanted.
Yeah, it's a bit ballsy from nothing to say, but the dragon form hasn't really chipped away at the tier 1, so that's something for CDEC. No major objectives being brought too low just yet. EHOME are still kind of taking their time there, but they have juggled around these ult usages quite nicely. We've seen the wolf form, we've seen the dragon form, and they have been used to great effect. Right now, CDEC though, I'm sure they're pretty happy with the fact that Ame's free farming. 75 last hits, up against the next person at 58. It's been a spectacular time for Ame on this free lane. Like, you are hitting that timing. We will still have to find what he does up for in the end. Like, what he does finish up with his itemization first.
He's going from off the map. It's still right now in the courier.
Is under attack.
The MOM, that's going to really escalate that farm quite a lot. And because we all know what happens with God Strength and Mask of Madness. It's a lot of damage, assuming they don't come you around. But for now, I believe Ame will just, just use it to secure more farm, just a bit more quickly. Just actually walking away. EHOME have smoked up, so he's a bit cautious here down and expecting a game to come. EHOME then focuses on mid though. They'll start off on James. There will be a time out. Ahmed has rotated a great vision from James, but they've lost with name. James does also go down and now the egg to drop and deal with it. Ahmed, he does take it out, but XM does die on the Queen of Pain. Now Ahmed being chased down on the like, and this is the real problem here. A lot of people dropping. It's a 4-for-4 trade here. Surprisingly enough, I thought Ame may have just turned around and just started man fighting. Perhaps not realizing SRF was actually taking care of the rest. Ultimately, does seem to offer a little bit more for EHOME.
Yeah, they do benefit a little bit more with that trade. I think losing your Sven is not the best though. The fact that Sylar does get away there unscathed is a bit of an issue still. Execution of EHOME is not quite up there. The egg precision wasn't the best, and a couple of things, it felt a bit too staggered to really maximize that, so CDEC does still find a way to stay in there. And again, they still have a slight net worth lead here from CDEC. They are really putting all their eggs into Ame so far. I think that's something EHOME has to start punishing. Like, they don't really have wards on this Radiant jungle. If they want to keep a lid on this Sven, they're gonna have to track him.
Dire's top
They're
tower
just
is under
they're just
attack.
ignoring him for now. Arme just goes back to farming. He's got a AC queued up now, so just wants to go for that assault cuirass, get that bonus armor for his team, and
Is under attack.
really start to escalate this event a little bit. There will be a TP
Oh,
onto
James.
James. Faith beyond. Sprout gonna be well, he has a quelling blade just in case that happens, so he does get out of there. Tyler, we'll go ahead and just trade the tier 1 towers as we already had one going down, but the top lane thanks to XM. It's still a very even game, like no one's really winning this out too hard. But EHOME, you look to that mid lane, John, they are really starting to apply a lot of pressure with this DK. And you start to wonder as well, what time will Arne be ready to fight properly?
The assault cures should be the time they're looking for, although I think you want the blink as well, or an Ags just to get yourself in the fight. But a lot of the damage that is coming out from EHOME right now is mostly physical, and again, that's down to the Venge and everyone else. It's down to the minus armor that they're pumping out. So the AC is going to take a lot of that away. You will just want to wait for that from Ame. And what rate his farm's going? Maybe around the 16 to 18 minute marks when you're going to be seeing that. Maybe a bit quicker if he finds a couple of kills.
Radiant's bottom
I
tower
guess just
is
keep
under
doing what he's
attack.
doing. Like he's still on the top of the net worth more than that spend. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing right now. He's just doing what he needs to do, and he just don't seem to mind though. They are in the world about this spend, completely ignoring him so far. Guess they're just waiting for Sala to have that Necro 3 book. And perhaps once the level 3 book is available, maybe that's when they decide we should go probably deal with Arme.
It's kind of reminiscent of what they did in game 1, though. Like, they completely ignored Spectre. And again, CDEC in game 2 completely ignored Medusa. So when you get these farming cores, you leave them alone, they can do a lot of damage. EHOME has to be a bit careful with just how much space they're giving away there.
Smoke up from CDEC. Wow. Gonna be an easy kill. Seen this one before. Why just kind of accepts his death. EHOME, they've been crowded into the mid lane as expecting the smoke gang to come, and luckily for them, was just wide dying. While that was happening, Necro 3 is now available on Stella, and a blink is on the way from nothing to say, and I imagine EHOME will probably go for a smoke straight after, and yeah,
Radiant's middle tower is under
they
attack.
want the mid-tier tower. They are fighting for a 2k worth lead, and SRF just to knock the tower off, but they want to go for the Doom kill now. Egg was dropped very preemptively just to make sure they get it off in time, and they do. SRF, he'll drop the one to claim the kill. They are heading towards not really much else to take here, so it's back to farm.
Yeah, they are really disciplined about just how far in the map they go, although Sylar is on the Radiant jungle and they don't quite have the overarching vision here. Might get spotted out, and that's going to be an opportunity for
Dire's
CDEC.
bottom tower
Yeah.
is under
Do they
attack.
find them? Silent gonna run straight into XM. Just pops the wall form. That's why he feels so safe. In fact, turn around a little bit now to XM. There are 5 heroes around, but they're not Fisher by themselves. That'll be just a little bit of a scuttle. Claim the 50-minute
Radiant's
heroes.
turret has been killed.
We'll get them.
Radiant's top
And
tower
ultimately,
is under
find
attack.
all 4 across the map, by the way, EHOME. The side of CDEC, we're still chasing that like it.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, they just kind of avoid any other form of interaction here with the side of CDEC.
yeah, they're just trying to hit and run on smaller objectives right now, which is kind of paying off. And this plays into the kiting issue you're seeing with this Sven. Like, he is gonna have the AC up and running as soon as his
Dire's
courier's
middle
back up,
tower is under attack.
but then he can't gap close. You still want the blink or the ag here to help you out with that issue.
Dire's structures are falling.
GG branches.
Yeah, GG branches indeed. Feeling confident CDEC, they'll still intent Arme will pop the golden strength. With the Mask of Madness, he's hitting very, very fast, even with the Fire Spirits on top of him. Also have the Hyperstone very, very close to the AC now. Not sure how concerned EHOME are getting about this, but he's in the top of the worth board the whole time. I don't know.
It's
It may work against them to have left him this long.
Radiant
Yeah.
are scanning.
it can be an issue. I think the reason why he was feeling confident is that they have been kiting him well. Again, he just doesn't have the best natural gap close, and everyone from EHOME moves pretty darn fast, except Y. But they don't really care if Y dies. It's just a veg. They can just kind of toss him away.
And he's gonna die now.
Oh, man.
I mean, this.
Oh, wow.
No, he hit the terrible creep.
Oh. Yeah, I was wondering why he melted past. Ooh.
I mean, you got some gold, but maybe he just assumed he was dead anyway. Like, if I'm gonna die, I may as well take some extra gold while I'm at it. That's probably the thought process there, for
Yeah.
Is under attack.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Radiant's bottom tower.
It's trying to make the most of out of a bad situation, right? Like, he still finds that code. There are issues now coming out, though. You take a look at Tyler, he's going straight for the halberd. So, without a BKB, you're going to be disarmed constantly. If you pop that strength, just going to be there, disarm you, and you waste a lot of time on that ult.
True.
Radiant's
Yeah,
middle
queued up a
tower is
BKB
under
now
attack.
instead though, so after the X, he just it's okay. It's time for that BKB to come out. Nothing to say going for the exact thing, trying to go for a BKB on the DK. Meanwhile, XM, he does have a goal to finish off that full wagon himself now. Yeah, he's been farming it for the last minutes or so, and essentially just an Ags rush here on the Quap. Gonna go ahead and pick it up straight away, just TPing straight back to the fountain. That could make a fair bit of difference, right? Because you have a lot of wave now and a very low cooldown on that Queen of Pain. Speaking of, now James has a link up on ES on the way. A lot of big items here for CDEC, and I imagine they'll probably want to go for a surprise reveal. And yeah, there's the smoke there. It's going to be a huge team fight. I'd say that was just casually sitting in mid with an invis room, so they don't want to run that way. They will be fighting into the Heaven's Halberd now, Sylar. And unfortunately for CDEC, they're currently running the one way.
Dire
I mean,
are
he'll take the outpost back, but that's really all they're going to get.
Yeah, it's a lack of vision from CDEC. They don't really have a support, which you can't fault them for. Again, they have been kind of playing on the back foot in terms of map control for a while, so they
Radiant's
to get
top
too much
tower
far
is
out.
under attack.
It does cost them smoke. It could be a bit tricky though if they push up this cliff, this ramp. There's a bit of a height advantage here for EHOME.
Oh, they're going to try, it seems. There's some RF going to show himself now. He is currently alone. His team a bit behind. Egg dropped right in the middle. There's a Sonic Wave with a fish. That kind of puts RF in. The poor guy, he just goes down. Now Sylar going to start making the chase on the Lockin, but he's going to be surrounded now as well. Has he gone too far? They stun him up with the Echo. Fate protecting the Spout Sylar. He does go to the chain toss. And now it looks like Armnek is more than comfortable to start cleaning up. A great feature from James. That'll be another in the form of DK. White definitely going to die here to XM. The rest of EHOME just getting out of there immediately. I don't want him to be involved any further. And Sylar just getting a bit overly excited, just running away from his whole team.
Yeah, that was really costly because they were delayed by that fissure, and it's he needed the rest of his team there, even if he had the disarm. Like, still playing into 4 heroes there, Skylar, so bit keen does cost, and CDEC does kind of even out the game again. We're at less than 1k lead for EHOME. 9-13, 20 minutes in. Ame from that is slowly but surely building into that BKB. And once that's up, you will not have the best control for the Sven. Like, you will have to just rely on, like, Sprout. He's not selling this Quelling Blade. Down to really strong swaps from Y. Just drag him as far away as possible. Once that BKB is up, that's really all you'll be hoping for in terms of control.
SRF They want this dude again. It's gonna be the Dragon Tail to set up. Chris Dive as well as the Sun Ray. Sorry, pretty healthy though. Running away, Spirit Vessel taking him down, but do they say, yeah, he'll jump back in with the stun. And another great feature out from James. He does not have Echo, so they can't really go for this team fight CDEC. If they have James, he just again, they didn't allow the Doom to survive. And why? He's dropping, he'll go down. They do use the egg up. CDEC didn't try and run out of there. They do find James for now. Salome, while just scouting out the high ground for his team, will not go any further. And it's just a bit of a back and forth between these two. I suppose it's kind of like the best case scenario for CDEC because they did protect their Doom.
Yeah, they have to use Egg on EHOME, so you're not gonna have that spell anytime soon. This is going to cost them, and CDEC understands they smoke up, they don't have to worry about that egg.
Great internet to say, but he realizes something is wrong. Does go back to farm the bot wave though. Just uses Blink. It's going to be a cooldown in 3, but he's not going to have enough time. He does get poisoned up by XM. He does Dragon Tail, but it's not going to be enough as Victoria have the gaze, and XM will give him the Sonic Wave. With all this time that's been bought, Arme has really gotten very, very close to finishing off that full BKB. They even feel confident enough to just go after the bot tier 1 tower and just get a bit of a gold boost for themselves. In fact, XM linking forward. Won't find anybody.
Are fortified. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Faith Beyond will try to trade that top tier 1 tower, but he will have James there to defend, and even Army to come in and just really clean up those creeps.
Yeah, it's EHOME does feel like it's starting to lose some ground here. We were talking about timing since CDEC taking a little bit longer. You're going to see that in play now. BKB going to be flying out very soon for Ame. Next thing you'll want probably just a blink for Ags. Then so the Sven, who is already a bit of an issue, just gets kind of out of control, and you haven't seen all the objectives taken just yet for EHOME. Like the top tier 1 still standing, tier 2's down mid, and top of course still standing. So if you want to see them maximize this kind of split push strat a lot more, but they have been hindered. They haven't been able to translate those early kills to any more major towers.
Is coming up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
EHOME seem to be aware that again, something isn't right. We're in the tree line.
Are scanning.
CDEC just kind of hunting
Radiant's
for their
top
prey.
tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Top tier 1 does eventually go down, but that was just the crits. Because the crits were there for Faith to really help out. And well, they don't want to fight. Go for Roshan, they say. And well, why not? They just want to take this for free. Not even sure if they're aware. The pings do finally come out. I don't get enough time to get there. Rough. Wolf will scout it. Immediately devoured by EHOME, still thinking they have time, and they definitely do. They're running their way in. Before they have to be dropped down, jumping in, but the Aegis has been attacking Arme. So the fight will officially start. The egg does pop all the way. SR getting very, very low. Does get the Doom to the DK. One getting a spot, trying to deal with SRF here. Continue to beat the DK up. So Ultimately ends up with a double kill on the back. Coming in more now, they're trying to chase up on that set, who is getting taken down by the vessel CQ, trying to sneak his way in to get the final damage, but they just can't put. Arme will survive and will keep the Aegis on hand. Ultimately, it seemed like a very, very even team, but perhaps even see it inching slightly ahead.
Yeah, for sure. They managed to take the Aegis in the end. They force out the egg. They found some big kills. Ame escaped with like 8 HP at the last tick. Really close. Unfortunate for EHOME that they could not really get what they wanted out. They found a rush a bit too late. Their response was a bit too rushed, and it cost them. They still do maintain a slight net worth lead here from EHOME. But you're starting to see the issues in this draft. They're not able to control that Sven, even with the swaps. And it is starting to be a bit dicey, although SRF.
They just love going out this turn, but Arme is going to be there to help him out. Straight up the Phoenix, but he's rounded up, still turning it around, going up the units from Sile, but he just goes down on the Doom. Arme going to be with a great pressure and Sonic wave from XM with the chain bouncing through. They do find Y, and here comes a Shaker jumping in for, well, not really an echo. He doesn't have one right now. He just does expire. Arme still willing to fight. Pops the dot on Faith Beyond. The Sunray is there to heal him up. Faith can't out of there. He will die. Arme's BKB does wear off. Nobody's left to really deal with this Sven any longer. And again, EHOME will be forced to back out of there.
Yeah, they just, the moment they kind of blow all their spells like that on the first life of the Sven, they don't have follow-up. And they were kind of playing less than their full team. So they were lacking a lot of follow-up options. They do still find a kill, but you're trading pretty hard now. CDEC does start to pull ahead in terms of overall net efforts. And they have a lot of room to grow. Yeah, like you look at Ame going for the Satanic next. So he's going to have all the sustain in these fights now. He is going to be probably disassembling that Mask of Madness for it, of course, but he's going to have all the strength in the world, all the damage in the world. And even XM is building into that Fuse cards a lot of durability and slows to counteract how mobile EHOME has been.
CDEC feeling much more confident going across the river now. Say, might have to be a little bit careful. They would have spotted out that breathe fire. Oh, there's the bounty set. Finally see it, and it's going to be on Y. Poor old Y wasn't having a tough enough time on the Vengeful Spirit. They wanted to kill him off and get that extra battle pass points. Nothing wrong with that. You know, what I've noticed as well, once the team starts setting bounties, that means they're very, very confident. I can't really blame CDEC for really feeling that way at this the game especially. You're getting to the point now where Arme is going for a Satanic.
Yeah.
After that, how do you deal with it?
You basically can't. Like, the kite ability is not there, and it's simply because your best tool is Sprout, and Quelling Blade's a thing, although...
Fish gonna be juked out from nothing to say. See, they really want to start applying some more pressure onto that tier 2 mid tower. But it is very, very hard. Like, you've got that Nature's Wrath that just clears out the creep waves over and over again. Sure, it's on cooldown now. They're just waiting for that next creep wave. And again, you know that the triangle is probably occupied right now by EHOME, and there we go. SRF does confirm it to be so. EHOME, with not really doing anything, they're kind of just delaying this T2 out. Like, they can't actually take it. Perhaps they have to wait for the Dragon Form from up to 70, and they're gonna just jump in with a Bishop block on up to say. He's still very tanky. They get the Doom up, but the BKB was already there. And then MP bursts his DK down. Sonic wave through. Y does get a nice swap off. Meanwhile, on the back foot, they found that is gonna be Sala on the line. He got gazed by the Lich, and now Y dying on the Venge. He does go down. Bounty secured, and that mid tier 2 tower now should be fairly open for the side of CDEC to just take for themselves.
Yeah, it's they have to wait out the fort, but they don't have an egg to play around, and they don't have the dragon form for a little bit more.
They're happy to keep going this low. You want to try and keep fighting. Arme still hits hard without god strength.
So they're gonna have to give it out. I don't know if CDEC can go high though. Like, they don't have God Strength just yet. They're probably just going to take the tier 2, fall back, do start to reach into the respawns of EHOME anyway. So they finally take that mid tier 2. Right? They've been looking at that objective for a while. And you have this Satanic up on Omega. So he has the Satanic. They can actually, once the God Strength's back up, his damage is going to shoot up so much. and his durability as well, and he's queuing up the butterfly next, so just looking like a really strong spin game for him. And again, it's that same issue we've seen across every game in the series. You have one team pick up a big farming core that never gets hunted down, and it just comes out of control afterwards.
Yeah, it's one of those games. Did you say butterfly? I think you meant MKB.
Nah, he switched it out. He queued up the butterfly a while ago. Yeah,
Okay.
still more damage. More twack for his Sven. And EHOME, they're on the lightning path. There was a bit of timer here. It feels like they've kind of missed. They're trying to build up inside. Already has the AC. Go from there. How do you match up against his Sven?
Gotta tell me, John, you're the analyst. I'm just this humble. I'm just a humble play-by-play caster, sir. Gonna try and bait the side of EHOME, and they will smoke up on the side of CDEC. Not that MKB at all. I don't blame the army. Doesn't need MKB. It's more like a luxury item. EHOME, they are aware that something is going wrong here, so they just back out of there immediately. And mid lane, they back out all the way. They'll lose nothing to say.
Ooh.
That is not the greatest of news here for EHOME, as its team just continues to go the way you've seen it. Arme says, screw it, I'm going to this tier 3 tower. Oh my, there is currently a bench in the middle of all these heroes, as Sylar had to be swapped out of there. XM just going to continue keeping Sylar away. That tier 3 tower taken so easily. Faith Beyond on the brighter side of things can just continue spam and sprout and delay things here for this mid max, but eventually they will just try to get through the build, and well, there's things they can take because there are still 2 tier 2 towers available, but the big win for CDEC.
Yeah, EHOME, they can't afford to get reckless like that. They do rely on all their heroes now to take these fights, because they don't have the best team fight here. It's just not as great as a Shaker can bring, and even a Lich. Like, Venge is very single target orientated. The Phoenix Egg is outstanding, especially with that Ag Sintu has had. However, it's just there's nothing to help him set up. So it's super hard to execute for EHOME. And it's just gonna get worse with the MKB up on Ame that we've been talking about, so his damage shoots up even more. You're gonna be really hard pressed to get the control onto the Sven. You are seeing like another Halberd build up on our DK, but
Here we go, it'll start straight on the SRM, they just hate that dude. But an echo comes in from James, straight on top of Sylar, and he is gone. And here comes the chase. Yeah, but that is just a panic game. It's gonna do nothing. They try to delay it out, will not get finished all the way, but will not. There's 3 heroes down now. He's gonna try and make a run for it with that BKB, but it doesn't look great because you might just lose the same in the process. There'll be a buyback for Sylar, but he doesn't have Wolf Form. But they know that the T4s may be under siege soon, and Faith Beyond he's down again. The only man left standing is Sylar. He just bought back. You do have a buyback on Faith Beyond as well. I don't think they can defend these tier 4s.
No, it's you're gonna lose God Strength in a bit, but you're just gonna nail through these objectives anyway. 2 heroes against the world. Can they hold out?
Surrounds off mangoes right now. That's what's important. Let's go to the mango tree, boys.
Oh, XM takes it.
Yeah, he does. Well, jump in. The Ancient is balling CDEC. That will be able to pull off this 2-1 victory up against EHOME, and it was really a back and forth series. It was quite close. The series finished off this evening, but that did CDEC do a nice start to the group stage for the Chinese region. Of course, the coordinator seems to be down again, but that doesn't matter, John. We're going to go into